Back to the wrestling, guys. We're the tag team champions of talk radio. That's what I was going to say, and then I got this caramel in my mouth, and it's like, oh, yeah. And look, Julie is all upset because she took a bite of chocolate, and she has this chocolate now all over her face. And
wow. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, Shawn Stidham, Willie F. here, and let's go ahead and go to what?
Nothing. You didn't see what she just did, but that's fine.
I didn't see what she did. I think it's better if I don't see.
Don't.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the phone lines. And joining us is from Unified Championship Wrestling, Big Daddy Raj Cox. Raj, how are you?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Raj?
I'm having a great time promoting this show, and I'm so tired I'm delirious. Kind of like I was last week.
All right. So nothing's changed.
I wasn't introduced here. This is Sam Wise, the commissioner of Unified Championship Wrestling.
Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm good. She didn't know I was online. That's all right.
So what's up? Of course, you're doing a radio show.
We're doing a radio show.
I get a kick out of people calling and say, "Hey, what's up? What's going on, guys?" Well, we're running a radio show, and I listen every week, and they do it the same, But anyway, on to the show.
Yes.
Man, we're having a great time. I just got off the phone with Francine.
Okay.
Hey, Francine is getting stalker calls.
Stalker calls.
Yeah, somebody's been stalking her. She had to change her number and everything.
Really?
And
it wasn't
they was
Raj.
calling,
it wasn't me.
No, listen.
Okay.
They was calling.
Like Willie.
They was calling Tommy's parents' house. They was calling the office, and they called her house. Now, unless you're in the business, don't nobody really have all those numbers.
Right.
And I talked to her about that. She said if it's a rib, it's a bad one, But she was a little nervous, but she's happy that she's coming into Dayton and get away from all this stuff.
Raj, whose child is that in the background, correct?
That's my niece.
That's your niece?
Yeah.
What's wrong with her?
Well,
she's getting stalker calls too, Shawn.
That's not wrestling related.
She's a little upset on the
that's the family side of the new Nature Boy.
She picked up the play school phone and she was getting stalker calls.
That's right. I think what it was, her little brother took her passy and they be fighting over it,
Okay.
It's a kid thing.
Maybe you could have like a passy on a pole match.
Hey.
Those two at the show.
Well, I'm going to make my little brother Brian the special referee in that too.
There you go.
That'd be great. Now we're talking. It's like a double shot. You're going to have shows on the 15th and 16th. One here in Dayton, the other one up in Wilmington.
Right. Yep. We got the one in Wilmington. That's ran by a couple other guys, so I'm not going to say too much about that because that's too far away for me to think about. You know what I mean?
But you've also, you were going to have Justin Credible on the show. Since then, he's signed with the World Wrestling Federation.
Right.
Who is definitely now on this card?
We got Francine, we got Tommy Dreamer, we have Rhino, and New Jack.
Now, there was some talk with Rhino signing a letter of intent with the WWF.
Right, and I had talked to him about that, and Rhino's a funny dude. I mean, he don't talk to the public a lot, you know what I'm saying? But when you get to know him, he's a pretty cool dude. And he said, Raj, everything you read on the Internet's not true. Now, I'm not saying I didn't sign something, but it doesn't have nothing to do with me right now.
Oh,
so I just took it for what it was worth.
All right.
I don't press the issue too much.
Gotcha. And tickets are on sale now, Gym City Records.
Gym City Records has plenty of tickets, and I'll drop off more if they start selling out. It's a great place, you know what I mean? It's well-lit, security-based, you know what I mean? It's on a main strip of Woodman. So, I'm looking for it to be a complete sellout, hopefully.
And also, you're doing something special for the kids, right?
Yep. If you buy a $20 seat, you can get the kids in for $10. If you buy a $15 seat, you get a $7.50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you buy a $10 seat, you get the kids in for $5. So it's half price off everything.
It's more good for the parents, I guess, than the kid. The kid still gets in, but the parent saves the money.
Right. And I know what it's like because I take Brian to a lot of shows, man. That kid eats me out of food. And I mean, golly. Willie,
I know.
Him and Graham, I mean,
I know.
Good God.
Now, will there be chili dogs there at the show?
Hey, they won't be mamas. They won't be mamas. They won't be mamas, so I'm not going to talk about concessions.
Okay.
But I want to thank you guys for plugging us. Like I said, I hope to see both of you guys at the show. We're going to have a great time, and all the fans are going to get their money's worth.
Sounds like a good time, Rod. Best of luck to you.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, take care, Raj.
Take care. Again, next
and Sam, too. I don't mean to...
Yeah, Sam, we got to give Sam some love, too, I guess. But next Thursday, February the 15th, it's going to be Unified Championship Wrestling and the UPWA featuring Tommy Dreamer, Francine, Rhino, and New Jack. It's going to be at the 755 Union Hall on Woodman Drive. 640-2794 is the phone number, the Unified Championship Wrestling hotline, where you can get all of the latest details.
That's right.
When's the last time Cam Collins did an update on that hotline?
I don't
call
know.
it, I don't call it every day, but I try and call it once in a while, and I never hear Cam anymore.
It takes Cam a lot of times a long time to form actually a full sentence.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, he forms one, he's got to write it down, forms another one, writes it down. So, I mean, that's a long time sometimes it takes for a hotline.
Speaking of hotlines, we had a message on ours. I don't know if you got this or not.
Yeah.
But Wildman Dave Diamond called up. And apparently, over on their hotline, there was some kind of discussion about his hair being similar to Ming's. And he wanted our opinion as to what we thought, because he didn't think that his hair was the same length as Ming's. He thought that, it was, being blown out of proportion.
No, I think that, I don't know. I really don't look at his hair all that much.
But from what I understand, and talking with some of the people that hang around the back of John Bryan Community Center,
because
Dave Diamond is short in length to a lot of guys when it comes to comparisons. That's what I've heard. I don't know for sure. This is what I've heard.
But the thing is with Dave Diamond, I mean, you actually get a good look at him, and then he talks, and then you want to walk away.
And the thing about Dave, happens. And again, you can call Dave's hotline, 229-8189.
Yeah, let's make sure we plug it since we're smashing
him. Yeah, see, we're going to smash it. We got to plug him, too. But, the nice thing, Dave had a birthday a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think, 28, 29. I'm not sure how old he is.
Something like that.
His hair is actually like 4 years older than he is. I don't know how that happens. But, again, Dave was voted on as the Wrestling Guys Hotline Announcer of the Year. So we do, take shots at him from time to time.
Actually, I think, actually, Dave's hair and Dr. Creep's beard are kind of like the same material.
If you've never seen Dave Diamond's hair,
yes,
sit down one night, watch pretty much any VH1 Behind the Music special. It's kind
anyone from the 80s.
Yeah, anyone from the 80s.
Lover Boy,
the fog hat behind the music.
That's a good one right there.
Fog hat. The fog hat. The Thin Lizzy, those are the behind the musics. You want to see Dave Diamond's hair? There you go.
You know what? It is really pathetic when the show turns into a Dave Diamond show.
Well, no,
we have absolutely no news or anything to talk about.
Let's go ahead and take some calls. Julia, who do we have? I know you've got a couple on hold over there.
Okay, here's Mike on line 4.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Okay, the question I have is, what's going on with Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan and them? Are they coming back or what?
Scott Hall really hasn't been talked about all that much yet, which could lead, I mean, Bischoff likes Scott Hall. Yeah. I mean, he's been very adamant that he does.
How sober is he?
Well, that's the whole thing. I think, I think Scott Hall needs to, clean up his life. Now, we haven't heard anything if he's has or hasn't. I mean, of course, with the exception of the taxi cab incident where that was only like, what, a month and a half ago?
Well, it was a month and a half ago when Scott Hall ended up spending most of the holidays in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing, too, was Scott, I did hear that he was talking with a company in Japan about possibly doing a tour in March. And there's also been some talk that he may go out and do a couple shows for UPW, for Rick Bassman on the West Coast. And, of course, we mentioned this before, UPW being an affiliate of the WWF. You got to wonder if maybe there's some kind of connection there with bringing Scott back into that company. But, as Willie said, Eric is a huge fan of Scott's, and also Kevin Nash. Let's not forget, Kevin Nash does have some influence with Eric Bischoff. He has in the past. Scott and Kevin are best friends. That's no secret. So you got to think, if Kevin Nash has absolutely any in that company, or even, Diamond Dallas Page, that Scott Hall would have a chance to come back to WCW.
Yeah, I think it's getting kind of old with, Kevin Nash going over Scott Steiner.
Well, Kevin Nash himself is getting old.
So is Ric Flair. He's like 70.
Well, yeah, but at least you know what? The one thing I'll say about Flair is, thank God he's not wrestling anymore, because for me that was really just pathetic when he was back wrestling, like 2 years ago. Unfortunately, and trust me, I'm a huge Ric Flair fan. But guys need to realize sometimes it's time to move on, and I'm glad that he has finally moved on.
He hasn't moved on yet.
Well, but what I'm saying is he's not wrestling anymore. He's at least just doing, interviews, and still, he does interviews better than, and promos better than a lot of the younger guys and a lot of the other guys that are in the business right now.
And also right now, too, Ric Flair's persona, I don't think, is one that a lot of fans can get into. They don't like seeing a guy with his stature in the business and the history of this game reduced to being a comical, buffoon kind of commissioner. And that's not, that's why I said last week that I don't think Ric Flair right now is a good heel. I think he's good as the face commissioner, being the authority figure, being the legend of the sport. And to see him, in his underwear the other night, aside from being stomach churning, was a little bit depressing as well.
We've seen that, how many times? 50 million
Yeah,
times?
that's true. I'll give you that.
I just wonder, I wonder if he ever changes his underwear since he's always got the same ones on.
There's a lot of things I think about at night, but Ric Flair's underwear, I try to stay away as far from that as I can.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep now. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for the phone call. Appreciate that. But Ric Flair, I think, absolutely one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, maybe
Absolutely.
the best one. But again, to see him in this comedy role is just really, really depressing and hard to take.
See, but I still think he's fine. I still like Ric Flair.
I still like Ric Flair. I just want to see him in a different role.
Sure.
Maybe even as a heel commissioner, maybe okay. The way it's being conducted right now, it's not very fun to watch. But then again, really, what in WCW is right now.
And so, then maybe they'll change that then.
We'll see. Sometimes you're only as good as the environment around you,
That's
and
very
that could
true.
be part of it also. 457.
Look at me here tonight.
Huh?
Look at me here tonight.
Thanks. That's good. That's nice.
I'd like to say I won't be back next week.
Yes, you will. All right, 457-1065. We are going to take a break. More of your phone calls when we come back. We are the Wrestling Guys
On Buckeye Country.
A lot of things you could say about what just happened off the air. We are not going there.
I didn't say
8:45,
anything.
we may do some of that.
All right.
But anyway.
That's right.
Welcome
Yeah.
back to the Wrestling Guys at Buckeye Country.
Join us at 8:45. That's when the show is that's when the show gets good.
Well, the show's not. Yeah, the show's good, but at 8:45, we got something to talk about. And
Right. Put the kids to bed.
Yeah, anyway. By the way, I was looking through some things on the internet, and apparently there was a David Flair sighting. Him and Miss Hancock were seen together at a Backstreet Boys concert. That's good. David was being carded buying a beer.
Boy, that kind of shows you who wears the pants in that relationship.
Yeah,
I can't see David Flair going, yeah, I would. Do you want to go with me?
But if you had the chance to, with Miss Hancock in those pants, you would be going to a Backstreet Boys concert too.
That's
and you would go
very
to an
good point.
insane concert. You'd be singing "Bye Bye Bye," whatever else they do, and
I'd buy a program. I think
you may even wear the T-shirt.
I may wear the T-shirt.
You could wear the T-shirt. 457-1065, the phone number. Let's go ahead and get back to the phone calls. And Julia has the old list over there. Julia, who do we go to next?
Devlin.
Hey, Devlin, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
All right, now that since the Big Show's back, when can we expect Mark Henry to show back up?
I don't know. Mark Henry's attitude has supposedly gotten a lot better. I don't know. My personal feeling is I don't think that either of them looked all that great at the Grand Victoria show, but that's just me.
Well, Jim Cornette was on the program a couple of weeks ago. I heard that Mark Henry was down to about 320 pounds.
Yeah.
And looked in great shape. But one thing which was kind of odd is last week, OVW had a show on Wednesday in Louisville, and apparently Big Show and Mark Henry went against each other, and Big Show squashed him in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which was kind of odd, given the fact that, you would think they would want to build up Mark Henry a little bit more.
I think they should take Big Show back and bring Mark Henry in.
Did you like, though, on Raw, how they tried to make Big Show look thinner?
Oh, God.
With what he was wearing?
Black is very slimming.
I know, but you can tell the guy was trying to hold his
the next thing they're going to do is you're going to see him. Remember that? What was that Paula Abdul video she did when she was fat and they stretched her?
Yeah, see, exactly.
Whatever that technique is called, maybe it's stretching.
Yeah.
Who knows? That's the next thing you're going to see.
We're
not talking about the song. We're talking about the technique they used in the video. What was that? Promise of a New Day? Was that the one?
There's so many that she was fat in.
Yeah, she was fat, and they stretched her so she wouldn't look as bad.
Just make sure you talk a little slower for Julia so she can get the entire thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, Julie's had a lot of problems.
I know.
Before the show began, Willie and I are talking about Hannibal.
Yeah.
And we were talking about... Shut up, Julia. We were talking about...
Hey, calm down.
We were talking about Jodie Foster and Julianne Moore.
Yes.
And I said, I like Julianne Moore better.
Yes.
Just because I think she's a better actress.
Right.
And Julia goes, you can't put those two words together. More better. That doesn't make sense. It's like, Julianne Moore, the actress, I like Julianne Moore better.
It's a bad habit. My grandmother's an English teacher. It was bad.
But I wasn't wrong.
No, you weren't wrong.
Anyway, Devin, what else is up?
Oh, God. Just listening to you argue over a few things.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
All right, thanks a lot for the phone call. Appreciate that. 457-1065, the number. Let's go to the next, Julia, who's up next?
The new game.
Take this show and put it in a time capsule.
The new game, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Let the aliens come find this show, new game.
I just want to ask you, who you guys think have better talent between the WCW and the WWF?
Who I think has better talent?
Yeah.
WWF.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, top to bottom, if you want to take a look at the rosters, WWF, I think, hands down, wins over WCW. Not to say that WCW doesn't have some talented people. They do. But a lot of their guys are really, really haven't had the chance to prove themselves on the same stage as the WWF guys have.
And I don't think that you have anyone in WCW that compares to a Triple H.
Or a Benoit.
Or to a Benoit. Or to, really, even to a Kurt Angle.
Right.
I mean, I really don't think so.
And how come you don't see that many WCW females fighting like females over in the WWF, like China and them?
That's because there's none left.
I mean, last week, we talked about earlier, they fired Tigress and Major Guns and Paisley and Amelia Meow and Daphne. So, who? Daphne.
Amelia Meow.
Leah Meow.
I thought I said Amelia Meow.
You and Julia need a Q-tip or something. But, yeah, I mean, there's simply not as many women right now in WCW.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, new game.
Okay, thank you.
You okay?
I'm fine.
What do you want to say? Did you have this,
no.
eating grin on your face?
Nope.
And
Nope. Just moving on, waiting for
The fact that... Never mind.
all right.
Just the look on your face.
Thank you.
This show has had a whole bunch of those tonight.
Yes, let's go ahead and go back to the phone lines. Okay, Julie's now officially saying no, she will not go to the phone lines. Now she's upset.
Hey, will you go to the phone lines, please?
No, Julia's busy right now, so we can't do that.
All right, well, what else do you want to talk about?
Who knows? I mean, it's all up to Julia. Julia, do you want to go to the phone lines now? Okay, now Julia will go to the phone lines.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Julia, who do we have?
Justin.
Justin.
Hey, Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Calling back. You guys said it's a slow news day, so I figured I'd call and fill some time for you guys.
Hey, thanks. We appreciate that.
First of all, you could probably go for the rest of the half hour if you want to sit and count the reasons why Chris Jericho's Fozzy album didn't break the top 100. But the No Way Out pay-per-view coming up, do you guys have any thoughts on, they haven't announced, well, really, for a title main event, of course, they got Triple H and Stone Cold, but they haven't announced really a title main event. And what's the deal with them trying to make Big Show into this monster heel? I mean, he's coming out and whipping everybody's ass now.
Well, I think it's a way to because they need probably a monster heel right now. And so what do you do if you want to make the guy rise up fast to the top and put him into the main event status? Is you have him basically come out and squash everyone.
Well, one thing which is kind of surprising is what you'll see, Rock and Big Show go after one another this Thursday on SmackDown. And without giving away the results, it's kind of surprising what they do as quick as they do it. And maybe you can read between the lines on that. But I think that when we first heard Big Show was coming back, we kind of thought, well, Rock's going to be off filming, the Scorpion King, so maybe they're trying to bring him in to fill the gap while the Rock's gone for the month or two that he'll need to miss to film that movie. Big Show, I think he's more mobile than he was before. I think he's added some muscle, but he still has that tire around his waist, and that's the thing.
Now, another thing also, I wonder if the WWF thinks any of their fans are stupid enough to think that The Undertaker and Kane, that they would allow them to hold a tag team title belt for any amount of time with their status. I agree with having them affiliated with each other and being on each other's side, but having them be a tag team, I think it's a little beneath what they could be using them for right now.
I have to agree with that, but at the same time, how else do you use them?
Well, I don't think that you could ever really. I mean, of course, 20 guys going for the same world championship may be a little ridiculous, but I don't think it would hurt to add them back into the fold with the world championship, because we all know that there's no way that they would allow them to have, when they had let Rock and Undertaker have the tag team belts for, a week, or actually, what was it, a night maybe, in all reality.
Right.
they should know that the fans aren't that stupid. We're not going to believe them as a tag team. I mean, because we know they would be unstoppable, as a tag team together. Nobody really would be able to beat those guys.
Probably the biggest reason they are a tag team is so they can set up another feud between those guys.
Is that what we all need?
Again. Yeah, one more Undertaker and Kane match. That'll be big. Hey, Justin, appreciate it for the call. Thank you very much. One match I guess we're probably going to see at No Way Out is Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero. Now that he's back, looks like they're going to put those two up together.
Buff?
Who, Eddie Guerrero?
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Guerrero looking little.
You know what? I never really talked about guys and called him buff, but...
Well, Bagwell, but,
Buff
that's his
Bagwell.
name. Yeah, Buff Bagwell's about the only one. But did you like Eddie Guerrero's new feathered hairstyle,
Oh, yeah.
Went back and watched some Flashdance and said, hey, I want my hair look just like that. So, but yeah, Guerrero and Jericho ought to be able to put together a very good match, especially on that pay-per-view when they're given, a 15, 20-minute time limit in which to work. Ought to be a very entertaining match between those two for the Intercontinental title coming up at No Way Out. Let's go ahead and go back to the phone lines. Julia, who is up next for us?
We have Robert in Yellow Springs.
Robert, how are you?
Hello. I just want to know how many. I had a bet with my friend. I want to know how many times Sting won the Royal title belt.
Ricky Steamboat?
No. Sting.
Oh, Sting. Off the top of my head, I've heard it's like 11.
Yeah, I don't have the almanac.
I don't have the almanac in here, but
put that on the hotline tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll try and pass that along to the hotline.
All right.
Okay. All right. Hopefully you win. And if we win, hopefully we get a cut.
Yeah.
Yes, Julia.
House gets a cut.
I have a question. Since you guys were talking and I grabbed the phone, when are they going to bring back Paul Bearer?
Percy now is working behind the scenes.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know he was behind the scenes, but with all that is going on, you think he'll
But you have to
bring him back?
understand. You have to understand. Paul Bearer does not have the kind of breasts that they're looking for. He has man breasts.
I just think don't you think it would add more at least to
yeah, but he's been gone for so long. I think that they basically think, well, no one's missing him.
Yeah, and he's gotten a promotion behind the scenes too, so he has more responsibility. He's kind of in the Tony Gurria, Sergeant Slaughter kind of phase of his career. You see,
now that'll be the day when we see Paul Bearer running around with Sergeant Slaughter and his little stormtrooper, his ref stormtroopers.
His ref storm.
That's all they do. They huddle around and they just wait for trouble backstage.
And they're always like 30 seconds too late.
I know. Exactly.
If they could work on that timing a little bit.
Those arenas just look a lot smaller on TV, the backstage of those arenas, because they can get there, bam, they're there.
Maybe they ought to talk, to Raj and Sam and Atlas Security and maybe get some pointers from them.
Exactly, yeah, on how to do it.
Absolutely.
That's a good idea.
457-1065, the phone number, and let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a new website that's out there.
Oh, man, you're going to go there, aren't you?
Put the kids to bed.
Yes, yes.
Get them away from
the radio. We'll talk about when we come back. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country, 106.5.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country, 106.5. Shawn Stidham, Willie F. in here, and I'm trying to still remember that we just had the commercial from Jokers. I'm trying to figure out what a Valentine's Love Buffet is.
It's a love buffet. Is that
Julia,
like
are you interested in a Valentine Love Buffet?
What's a buffet?
I have no idea. That's what they said. Call Kate Burnett. Ask her what it is.
She said buffet.
She said buffet. So
I don't have a clue. I don't know what they mean by that.
I don't know.
I think I'll pass.
But, yeah, if you want to go to Valentine Love Buffet, call Jokers.
On love.
433-LAFF. What's the name until we said hi, and there you go. Anyway, there's a brand new website out, and I've heard about this.
Wait a minute. First of all, say if you're just joining, put the kids away.
Yeah, this is the disclaimer.
Yes.
But there's a new website, and it kind of appeals to that Jerry Springer, Jenny Jones kind of fascination we all have from time to time.
A little bit.
Yeah. Ringrats.com.
Yes.
And for those of you that don't know what a ring rat is, basically...
I explained this today.
Okay.
A ring rat is a groupie of a wrestler.
Yes. And, they're in different sports.
A hardcore, let's just say, a hardcore groupie.
And, there's different phrases in baseball. They're called, like, ballpark annies. In wrestling, they're known as ring rats.
Right.
And there is a woman who is proud of this, and she's opened up a website, ringrats.com. It's actually, if you type it in, ring-rats.com.
Yes.
And on there, you can find out, if you're interested, who is hot, and who is not.
Yes.
And there's a message board, and
There's a message board. You can find out how...
the ratings.
Yes, the ratings of people from Abdullah the Butcher all the way down to the Hardy Boys.
Yes, and they're all on there. Now, I will say this. After looking at this website, probably 80 to 90% of the so-called reviews are made up.
They have to be.
Is what I'm thinking.
They have to be.
Especially reading Abdullah the Butcher in the hot column. I just don't... I don't know.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
it's a pretty disturbing sight, actually.
Why would you even want to look at that? I have no desire to know
it's the
anything.
Jerry Springer. It's like when you drive by and you see an accident and you look, you can't help but look at it. And Dave Meltzer put this in his website a couple weeks ago that this website was starting up, and so I looked at it and it was like, okay. And granted, wrestlers are a lot like rock stars, a lot like athletes.
They're worse.
Sometimes they're worse. When they get on the road and things are done, the match is over, it's time to go back to the hotel, sometimes they don't want to be alone.
Yes.
And if you are one of these groupies, Julia, and you're curious, you can go to ringrats.com. Again, you got to put a hyphen between ring and rats. And, in the hot category, you have Abdul the Butcher, Chris Chetty, Kid Cash were very popular choices.
There's no one really important.
And who was in the knot?
No, there was
no.
Warriors,
The
Rock,
Hardys.
The Hardys.
The Hardys. Yes, The Rock is in there.
The Rock is in there.
The Hardys, I know.
Terry Taylor's in there.
Bubba Dudley.
Both Dudleys, actually.
That I
Both
believe.
Dudleys.
I don't believe the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys are there.
on there.
I don't think so.
The Hardy Boys are there.
I'm telling you, they have a lot of stuff. No, I don't know.
And
they're pretty specific.
Yeah. And
about that whole Lita Hardy Boy, bring in somebody else and do that.
Stop. Kidding.
Again,
no, I'm not.
No,
Oh my God.
You got the computer. Go ahead and type it in. But and also you have the not column, and Steven Richards.
Yes, I was going to say.
Is not a very popular person with ring rats.
No.
Well,
they don't like Steven.
They don't like
Steven Richards.
Yes.
He's not horrible to look at.
No, it's not. We're not talking
looks.
We're not talking looks. We're talking performance ability.
Yes.
In the ring?
No.
No. Julia
we're
is
talking
on a 7-second delay tonight.
We're talking endurance.
in wrestling?
No. Stamina.
And giving ability. And, there's a lot of different... Again, if you are of age, ring-rats.com. You can check that out. And we're not endorsing it.
No, not at all. We're just like, we just felt that it was our duty to tell you everything that goes on within the wrestling world.
And certainly looking at some of those stories, you go, I've heard that one. I mean, because some of these
There's a couple that I've heard. There are a couple that I've heard.
Yes.
And there's a couple that probably should be on there that we know personally about that aren't on there.
Oh, do you want to put the... No, I don't know if we should or not.
No, I don't think so.
There's a couple areas you can go to in Dayton that are legendary as far as wrestling and,
Yes, that's true.
Anyway, Julia, I believe you said we have a phone call, right?
Yes, it's Eric. First-time caller.
All right. First-time, long-time listener.
Yes.
Eric, how are you? Eric once.
Well,
Eric, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what's up?
Well, my friend told me, was talking to me today, and he said that WCW is thinking about getting the original NWO back together. He said Hogan's coming back to WCW.
I hope not. I don't think that's true.
Nobody knows for sure. Again, we've talked about it a couple times tonight. It is widely believed Hogan's going to be a part of this new WCW. While Bischoff hasn't said, I don't think specifically, that the NWO will not come back.
No, he did come out and say that is done. That the NWO did what it was supposed to do, and that is just beating a dead horse now.
I hope so, because I can't. I thought, because there for a while, I thought Hogan was suing WCW. I guess his lawsuit against them is finally done.
I don't know if it's done yet,
I
but...
would assume that if Hogan is part of the ownership group that would now own WCW, that he would dismiss the lawsuit.
That'd be pretty cool, though, suing yourself.
It was because...
it's possible he could still maybe file some kind of libel suit against Vince Russo or something like that, I would imagine.
Making enough money, he don't need to sue nobody.
Well, he doesn't need to, But, Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan certainly did not get on the same page. And you could see Hulk Hogan just really wanting to screw Vince Russo over and getting him into a lawsuit. Even if Hogan didn't win, if he could drag it out long enough to, cost Russo quite a bit of money. Because I guarantee you Hulk Hogan has more money than Vince Russo does.
Oh, yeah. You guys are cool, because my uncle told me that there's a wrestling guys on 106.5, and I turned it on one day, and me and my friend were listening to it. And I was like, all right, so now the wrestling's finally getting back up now. It's kind of cool.
I'll appreciate it. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yep.
All right,
I like being called cool.
You like being called cool?
It's the only time in your entire life that's ever going to happen.
But, actually, we're coming up in about 2-3 weeks. We're actually coming up to our 2-year anniversary.
Really?
Oh, my.
Yes, we are. So it's kind of going to get some things set up for that and celebrate the 2 years.
Will the anniversary be awesome?
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Cool and awesome.
Cool and awesome?
I guess so.
Sorry, out.
Whatever that means, all right. I still don't know where you went with that, but okay.
It was the fact that you said out or whatever.
No, sorry. I was doing cool, awesome.
Don't try.
Coming up on March the 16th. Is that right? Is that the Friday? Is that the day? Yes. March the 16th, they are back at the Grand Victoria Casino in Rising Sun, Indiana. And on that show,
Kane.
Yes, Kane is going to be a part of that. It's, again, going to be another HWA/OVW combined venture.
Let's get Kane on for an interview.
You want to do that? We could do that.
It'd be
Shawn. I'm going to be at the Grand Victoria.
Actually, he doesn't. He has his voice back, which is great, thanks to modern medicine. But
do that again.
Huh?
Never mind. So I think Julia likes that.
My mic? Can I ask you to turn my mic on?
Yes, I can. Do you want it off?
No.
Anyway, Kane is going to be at the Grand Victoria Casino with the HWA and OVW. Again, that's going to be on March 16th. Tickets available. You can call 513-771-1650 to get all the details about the HWA. And then, coming up, go ahead.
I was going to say that I already know what the card is for Tuesday, though.
Oh, by all means, please share it.
Well, I read it on the website.
Go ahead.
So that's how I know. You have a four-way dance for the Cruiserweight title. You have Pepper Parks versus Time Bomb versus Matt Striker versus Shark Boy. Then you also have the Jablonski brothers, who are like the A squad, but now they're Pepper Parks was in the A squad. Now he's going out for the Cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm.
And
because of Brock Guffman and his great managing abilities. Right?
Well, Brock Guffman, I guess, has put up $15,000.
Really?
And said
Can you afford that?
It's not me, man. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And basically said that he guarantees that these guys will have championships by the time they get to the casino. Because if they don't, whoever doesn't have a championship at that point, he's going to give them $5,000.
Really?
So it's his $15,000 tournament of champions.
Gotcha. That one of the A squad, Jablonski brothers, is going to have a title, or that person gets $5,000.
Right. Each one of them will have a title. Otherwise,
what's the motivation? If you don't win a title, you get $5,000.
Well, that's because he's guaranteeing them that they will have titles.
Ah, okay. And if
because it's just like the XFL. It's not about the money. Because of the love.
Gotcha. Julia's raising her hand. Yes, dear. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get the. We have a timer here.
Oh, is that
we have a little clock.
I
So
didn't know.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you.
There's a clock here. There's one over there.
Well, you guys were so engrossed in what you were talking about. I was just trying to be nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah. February 15th.
Julia, I do really love you. Thank you for showing me your time. That's very nice of you. I'm gonna say everything that you do.
February the 15th. Yes.
She turned off my mic.
I'm sorry. February 15th, Unified Championship Wrestling is back in action with the big show at the 755 on Woodman, thank you. Tommy Dreamer, Francine, New Jack, and Rhino all on that show. For details, you can get information by calling 640-2794. Reset the news for you in case you missed it. Jim Ross has been promoted to the #1 broadcast team on the XFL. He will be teaming now with Jesse Ventura, Matt Vans Gruzer, whatever his name is. He is going to be demoted to team #2 with Jerry Lawler, so you will be able to hear Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura back together again starting this this Saturday on the XFL NBC. Also, there is reports today that WCW is denying that there are some complications between the sale between themselves and Fusant Media Ventures. Some say these problems could end up stopping the sale from happening, although WCW says, no, that's not true. But
I don't think that's going to happen either. I think basically the only thing they have to do is cross the T's.
Cross the T's, dot the I's.
No, they've already dotted the I's.
Oh, the I's are dotted.
The T's.
You just got to cross T's.
Yes.
So then what's the big deal? What's the holdup?
They ran out of ink.
Oh, okay. And nowadays, the big corporations, you got to fill out 50 million,
you do.
Purchase orders and everything else just to be able to get your, that.
Can we thank our guest? I'm not going to say who it was.
We'll thank our guest a little bit.
Are you going to say who it was?
No, I'm not going to say who it was because they make
you get a little slam.
No, not yet. Okay. If it was 420, I'm sure he would have been on. But
that's true.
There you go.
Okay.
Again, quickly, don't forget tonight on Thunder, Lex Luger versus Half of Chronic, and that one's going to be a barn burner. Yesterday, WCW asked the judge to dismiss the Sonny Ono racial discrimination lawsuit.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
The judge will respond in 10 days about what he thinks should happen. Sonny Ono, Bobby Walker, Hardbody Harrison are among the people that are involved in the lawsuit. Allegations include a mock Chinese menu that was distributed among WCW employees. Also, according to Randy Pee Wee Anderson, he thought that black wrestlers at the power plant were not given the same opportunities as white wrestlers. Not good news for WCW.
No, and someone called it a plantation.
Yeah, somebody did call it a plantation, so they are filing their lawsuit, and we should know, again, in about 10 days, if the judge is going to dismiss that or not.
See, the bad thing is, what? I bet you someone's going to take that and they say, plantation, and I bet you we're going to have like a character like Mandinga.
Nah.
I hope we don't, though.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But I think WCW's in a lot of trouble.
They are in a lot of trouble. Hopefully, though, that with the new regime, they'll be able to. If the judge does feel like this lawsuit does need to go to trial, they'll settle it, get it done, and when WCW starts their new clean slate for whatever 15th time in the last year, they can truly start off and have all the bad junk behind them. Don't forget to call the Wrestling Guys hotline, 285-0991, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Willie F. and myself with all of the latest wrestling news. Thanks to Tigress for calling in tonight. Again, www.diversity5.com, their website. Check them out. And we are done.
Thank goodness, because I've been off my game tonight.
We are the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. Guy that has just fallen, I think, as far as he has.
I think
it looks like he has no idea what he's doing inside the ring.
I think he's going to get OVW's phone number real soon.
He needs it. I mean, he has not been the same since he had the rotator cuff surgery. Maybe the thing is with Billy Gunn, maybe Billy Gunn is just simply a tag team wrestler. I mean, they've made these.
It's very possible.
Before the injury, they tried to push him as singles light with the King of the Ring. That really didn't work.
No.
I don't know if it's the charisma. I don't know exactly what it is, but as a singles competitor, Billy Gunn just does not work that well.
No, he doesn't. And you know what? If you cannot have a good match against Triple H, chances are you're probably not going to have one.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to not do. WrestleMania poster has been released, a promotional poster, and on the poster you see the Astrodome, where the event's going to be held, and then two large faces hovering over the Astrodome, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Yes.
With the tagline,
Houston, we have a problem.
That's a great tag. That's a great poster.
Yeah, of course it is.
And of course, this leads everybody to go, okay, now WrestleMania is going to be officially Austin and The Rock, which I think it's going to be.
I don't think there's anything else that you can make that.
No, 70,000 people in there. That's Absolutely, the only main event you can have. Let's see. Speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the stipulation was announced at SmackDown last night for his main event at No Way Out against Triple H. It will be a 2 out of 3 fall match. The first fall is going to be a straight one-on-one wrestling contest. Okay. The second one has street fight rules. And the third fall, should it get that far, you never know.
What are the chances of that happening?
Will it go to a third fall is a steel cage match. And, of course, that's No Way Out in a couple of weeks. So make sure to get lined all up for that. Thunder tonight, you got Buff Bagwell and Conan going one-on-one. Jeff Jarrett teams up with Rick Steiner to take on Diamond Dallas Page and Dustin Rhodes. Mike Awesome and the Cat, Mike Sanders and Kwee-Wee, and I need to go on. That's enough.
Well, no, because there's some WCW fans out there. What else you got on
I like WCW. Just Thunder, Nitro was just so pathetic. I don't think there's another word for it. It was pathetic this past week.
You know what? I don't think it was. I don't think it was that bad. But I think the stuff that they have Flair doing now. You know what? I'm starting to agree with you now.
That's scary.
I know it is.
You might want to change your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking about that right now.
I'm starting to think that maybe Yeah, Flair's he's going a little overboard.
I don't like seeing Ric Flair as the comical heel.
No, I don't like it either.
Commissioner. Ric Flair is beyond that.
And this is why I don't understand.
Is that what he's supposed to be?
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
How many times has he turned on his son?
Yeah, I mean, that's
and then for him to just break down and cry, oh, please, yeah, don't hurt him.
Don't hurt my boy.
He's like, they had that match not too long ago, David Flair against Ric Flair. Please.
And then you have of course at the end of Nitro, Kevin Nash getting attacked and by Scott Steiner and Ric Flair.
And another screw job ending.
Yeah, and somebody made the point on the internet, and I can't remember who it was, is that damn it, now Kevin Nash's high flying wrestling style will be hampered at Super Brawl this weekend.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, oh yes, there is a WCW pay-per-view this Sunday.
There is.
And Julia's raising her hand. Yes, dear.
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't pay that much attention to Nitro, but
We've noticed.
I thought you were going to stop right after. I thought you were going to stop after you said attention. But go ahead.
No, but I watched the beginning of it, and that's usually about it. But why are they doing? I think the past 2 weeks on Nitro. I haven't seen Thunder because I'm here. But
sure.
On Nitro, why are they starting before they start? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
You mean where they had a match already?
They have like a match already in progress, and they tune you in. It's just like.
I think it's so that people, so they start, people start getting the idea of, hey, you don't want to miss like even the first second of Nitro.
Yeah.
Even though you've already missed the 5 minutes that happened before.
Well, when Nitro first started, they started running it at 8:57.
Yeah.
WWF did that to try and lure some people in, early. So, right now, for the most part, WCW is on autopilot.
It's the same reason why WWF has to have like a 15-minute promo when they start Raw.
Yeah, but
it's kind of that same.
Well, they mixed that up lately, though.
They
are mixing that up a little bit.
But the promo, though, nothing's going on. And then, like, I guess what it is with Nitro having it happen 2 weeks in a row,
right.
That's kind of like redundant. I can see it happening like once every couple weeks. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
But
I think they're just trying to throw stuff against the wall and see what see what sticks.
It sticks.
Exactly. Most of it's not sticking on the wall.
Anyway, but so
that's it?
I think that's it.
That's a big news day.
It's a very, very slow news day. I told you that before.
That's okay. There's a lot of you know what? Yeah. You don't have to feel bad about yourself because there was a lot of good stuff there.
It's like a Sunday. It's like a Sunday with you on the hotline.
You have no idea what a Sunday is like on the hotline.
Oh, my goodness. But one thing we do want to mention about the Wrestling Guys hotline, 285-0991, is we do have a brand new sponsor for the hotline.
Yes.
Grips and Tips in West Carrollton. They have XFL hats. They have XFL shirts. They've got all your XFL gear that you could ever want. And we get questions, where can I get my, LA Extreme hat?
Sure.
My You know what? Right now, I would give anything for the webcam in the studio. Julia, adjusting her headphones, whacked herself in the head.
That was nice.
And of course, said, "Ow!"
Just to prove though that the XFL is everywhere. I was in a I won't even say what it is. I was in a grocery store though. Okay. And coming out, those little things that you can put 50 cents in and you turn and you get like the little ball. There's one full with XFL stuff.
Really?
Already, huh?
That's really surprising.
I'm serious.
That is pretty impressive.
XFL ratings down like 52%. From the previous week, which they were expected to get around a 5. One quick story before we go to break, though. The New York Times reported this. Lauren Michaels of Saturday Night Live, who is the god of SNL.
Yes.
He some people may not know that, Julia.
No, that's not it. I knew what you were going to say next, and I think it's silly.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, what happened this past Saturday, obviously the game, the first game, the L.A. and Chicago, was that the game?
Yes.
Ended up going 45 minutes over.
Sure.
So Saturday night,
it was a good game.
Good game. Saturday Night Live, because of the evening news, did not get started until 12:15.
Mm-hmm.
They were expected to get a 10 rating,
right,
10.0, because of Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
Because of the late start, they ended up getting, like a 6 or something like that.
Something like that.
So a little over half what they expected. Right. Lauren Michaels apparently blew up over the fact the XFL game was going over so late and wanted to just scrap the entire show and run a repeat. And they're like, you can't do that. Jennifer Lopez is here. No, just go on with the show.
He's done that before. There's been other times. Yeah, there's been other times. I think it was the presidential. There was like a Democratic convention or something that went over because I know a lot about SNL history.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with Lorne Michaels.
I do.
Absolutely.
I don't. It's a football game. If you're
but it's
not
an
going to
XFL
prepare,
game, and I love the XFL. I don't want to bash it, but let's be honest. The XFL is minor league football, and one of the problems, and I said this before the story came out or anything. I was watching the game Saturday night with my wife. If this thing is going to succeed, they've got to keep the games under 3 hours.
But they can't. But when there's overtime, you know what I mean? Like,
but it wasn't that. You need to take away like the player introductions where they don't say anything.
Which they're going to do.
Yes, they're taking away those.
But
you need to take away, I'm sorry, but, the little Stephanie McMahon, we're monitoring, the baby's heartbeat to make sure if it's going to come out or not.
Hold on a second. Saturday night, the game comes on. 8 o'clock? 8:01, my phone rings. It's Willie going, what the hell is this?
That's exactly what I said. I thought it was a storyline. You missed all that?
Well, see, I was here.
Well,
I was actually on my way here.
The quarterback, his wife is pregnant.
Oh, okay.
The backup QB.
The backup QB. And so they were monitoring. They had a helicopter ready to take the backup quarterback and the wife to the hospital.
Okay.
And here's Stephanie McMahon being a shill. Over the airwaves, saying that we're going to monitor this and we're going to, of course, that whole thing got scrapped. You noticed.
If the birth had happened and it had ended up being a foot or a football or Mae Young's other hand,
that would have been the end of the XFL.
I mean, I guess NBC just should have thought about that. Yeah, it's minor league football, but the point is it's still football, and still things like that could happen. And it's true they could have scrapped some of those things, but.
Well, the one thing Lorne Michaels said is that, look, if this had been the World Series, if it had been something, more important than just a regular season XFL game, I'm all for. I understand completely.
I think he still would have been upset.
Let's
look at SNL.
I see his point. You have Saturday Night Live with Jennifer Lopez, who arguably right now is the #1 entertainer in the country, #1 album, #1 movie,
right.
huge following. Great coup to have her hosting Saturday Night Live, and now it's blown because of the XFL. Dick Ebersol, president of NBC Sports, said, #1, the player introductions are going to be cut out.
Yes.
Halftime's going to be cut in half as far as the length. It's only going to be like 10 minutes, I think.
I thought it was only 10. It's only 10 minutes now. I thought.
Well,
whatever. It's going to be reduced. They're going to they're going to hold to that 10-minute guideline, and also we're also going to make sure that the game starts within 10 to 15 minutes after the show kicks off.
Right.
Because what time was kickoff? 8:20 or
something like it was like 8:25.
The 50-yard dash for the football. Whatever that is.
Well, I just don't. What I don't want to see happen was what I'm afraid is going to happen is that people are going to dislike or not so much follow or blame the XFL where it's not their fault. It's not, someone.
Whose fault is it?
Well, no, someone, the NBC people, Vince McMahon should have thought about, what's going to happen
if
it does
the XFL.
Yeah.
No, but no.
NBC and the WWF is the XFL.
No,
it is the XFL's fault.
But don't bash the players and the game and what's going on the field.
I don't think they would do that.
Well, see, I kind of feel in a way. Well, any press is good press.
Julia is now the champion of the XFL. Do not rag on the XFL, or Julia will kick your ass.
No, what I'm saying is I think Lorne Michaels just blew up a little too much about the whole situation.
He's been known to have quite a temper.
Let's look at SNL. It hasn't exactly done that well. Oh, my gosh.
It's
been spectacular.
This year's been great.
Yeah, this year's doing great. This year's ratings have been really good.
Okay, time out.
We're going way off the subject.
We're going way off subject. 457-1065, the phone number. Real quick, want to thank Papa John's in Kettering. They are feeding us tonight. They have a large, thin crust now. The new Papa John's thin crust, which is here. 3 toppings, $9.99.
That's
Give
great.
our boy Dana a call, 294-7272, and make sure you get some of that little garlic butter, too.
That makes the whole thing.
No, get the cheese sauce.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Julia. 457-1065. Your phone calls. We are the Wrestling Guys.
Buckeye Country 106.5.
Relationship.
Hey.
That's appropriate.
It is appropriate.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys. Shawn Stidham, Willie F. Julia is in here as well. Happy Valentine's Day to you. 457-1065, the phone number. In the second hour, we will have Tommy Dreamer and Francine scheduled in studio.
Yes.
And so we're looking forward to that. So make sure if you have questions for them, you get those all lined up and ready to go. And once again, we will plug this. Tommy Dreamer, Francine, Rhino, New Jack, they are all going to be in town tomorrow night, 755 Union Hall on Woodman Drive. Tickets are still available. It's going to be a great card. You're going to be there. right?
I am going to be there.
I'm going to be there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Julia, you want to come tomorrow night?
Are you going to go tomorrow night?
What are you doing tomorrow night? You want to come to the show? Okay, Julie's got a...
Julie doesn't even know what she's going to do the next second, let alone tomorrow night yet.
Anyway.
Go ahead. You keep formulating.
That's Thursday.
Yeah. Okay, Julie, turn off your mic, thanks. Anyway, for ticket information, 640-2794 tickets, I believe, are still available at Gym City Records.
Yeah, if you don't, yes, I heard that they are. And, if you don't know where it's at, it's on Woodman, you said Woodman Drive, but if you know where Frickers is, it's right in that area, right by Value City. That's where it's located, because a lot of people are asking, well, where is it?
Yeah.
So that's where it's at.
Yeah, but from what I understand...
Woodman's a big street, Julia. What are you laughing at?
From what I understand, 200-300 people already pre-sold, so it should be a very hot crowd, and hopefully we will see you out there tomorrow night. Last week, Eric Bischoff was a guest on Dave Meltzer's wrestling show on WrestlingObserver.com and talked about a lot of the things going on with WCW. Number one, he said that they are not in negotiations with the Road Dogg, Jesse James, which Billy Gunn had said, he had heard that Road Dogg is signed, which, again, Bischoff sometimes fudges these things, and we don't know. But he said that until Brian James gets his life in order, gets his personal problems taken care of, that basically there's really no use for him right now.
That would make sense, though. I mean, you got to figure, I think they should just bring, him and Scott Hall in as a tag team. Call him Drunk and Disorderly.
Just DUI.
And speaking of...
That's actually not a bad name.
Are you going to talk about the other thing that we talked about earlier?
What other thing?
Are you not going to talk? Well, I'm not going to say it if you don't want to talk about it.
About Jesus coming to town?
Yes.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Naked Jesus is coming to town.
Naked
we'll tell you about
Jesus
that in a
is coming.
Also, one thing Eric Bischoff said, we've heard a long time that WCW will basically be shutting down for a few weeks. Right now, it looks like that April 2nd is going to be the day that they just basically close the doors for about a month and then reopen. He said that he would like to do it after the pay-per-view this Sunday, but because they don't officially own the company yet, they can't do that.
Right.
He said also as far as contract signings, anything of that nature, they are powerless to do anything right now until everything is officially done. And he said, right now he basically has a little bit of input. I've heard from other people that he's basically running the show behind the scenes. I've heard both sides.
It kind of looks like he is.
But I mean,
products change a little bit.
But again, he's having to work with people and work with the current storylines that he really doesn't want to work with.
Right.
So don't judge Eric Bischoff right now.
So it might be one of these things where the pay-per-view is going to probably close, have a little bit of closure to a bunch of storylines, or within the next few weeks.
You would hope.
And then they will just start brand new.
Yeah, the deal is officially expected to be signed and done February 28th. Eric said that it may take a week or two longer just because of all the litigation involved, but we shall find out in the very near future what's going to happen. 457-1065. Let's go ahead and take a couple phone calls. We're going to go up to Ludlow Falls and talk to Hellraiser on line 1. How are you? Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Yeah, hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Where's Booker T?
Booker T suffered, was it a knee injury?
It was a knee injury.
In December at the Starrcade. Or was it Halloween? Which one was it, Starrcade or... Either November, I believe it was. He suffered a knee injury. And what the funny thing was, he was scheduled to go on vacation and be gone for basically like 2 or 3 months. And then what ended up happening is with this injury, he has to spend his vacation rehabbing that. So not the best timing in the world for Booker T. But, he may end up showing up, before this whole thing is said and done with Eric Bischoff closing down for a little bit.
Yeah. Do you guys think The Rock will win at No Way Out?
Yes,
absolutely.
I think so.
I mean, I think the collective thought here now is that that the main event WrestleMania will be The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, I mean, what else would you do for the main event, though? There is no other main event.
There's nothing else you can do. So, it's going to have to be Austin and Rock, and of course that would mean that either Austin or Rock has to be the champion. It's always better to have, the fan favorite. In this case, being in Texas, there's no question that Austin would be the fan favorite in that match. To have the fan favorite chasing the title rather than defending the title.
So I think K-Quick is a close second.
Very close.
Very close.
Just a hair away.
A little bit. Missed it by that much.
We are being very nice. Hellraiser, thanks for the phone call.
All right.
Line 2, Stevie D, how are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
I got a comment about the whole Lorne Michaels situation.
Sure.
Okay, let's put this in kind of a different looking aspect. Let's say he had the show with Jennifer Lopez a week or so before when the XFL first started. Okay? Let's say the XFL did great ratings, which they did, and say his show carried over with great ratings. You think he would be downing the XFL right now, or you think he would be praising them?
I don't think he would. just knowing what I know of Lorne Michaels, just by reading a whole bunch of books on SNL and everything, no, I don't think he'd be saying much of anything.
No.
And I'm pretty sure that if anyone watched the opening Saturday Night Live, he took a little shot at the XFL.
Yeah.
Too. And I'm pretty sure that was written right before the show went on the air.
Yeah. I also got to look kind of bad towards NBC. I mean, that's NBC's baby right there. That's something they've bought, they've paid into, and to let another employee bash it, that's just got to be bad publicity any way you go, and you cannot look at that positive any way you look at it.
Lorne Michaels, however, is pretty much untouchable. I mean, he has a franchise on NBC, and he's had it for almost 30 years now. So Lorne Michaels can pretty much do whatever he wants in that company and get away with it. And I think that had it been anybody else, I shouldn't say anybody else, but had it been somebody not with the star power of Jennifer Lopez, he probably would not have been as upset. But they did a ton of promotion for that show this past weekend, and to have it kind of get shot down because of the late start time. So it's easy to see why he was upset, but we will just see. But from what NBC says, they are going to cater to him. Which, I mean, granted, the guy's a legend there.
Yeah, well, he's had the institution for now 26 years and still generating pretty good ratings and pretty good publicity too. So.
Let's go to line 3 and go to Tim Foley. You're on the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Yeah, this is Tim Foley.
Yeah, Tim, how are you?
Yeah, I got 2 questions.
Hit it.
Where is the Big Boss Man?
That's a really good question.
He's on house shows.
He is on house shows, but I don't know what happened with him. I mean,
we had the
I don't
injury.
know if
he had the injury and rehabbed that, and then they brought him back on house shows. Actually, the last time they were in Dayton, that was the first house show that he had been on. That was his first match back. I don't know of any storylines. I haven't heard any other injury problems.
I don't think there's anything for him to do right now. And here's the problem with them with the WWF bringing in somebody, and I was talking with somebody about this today. They're bringing in so much talent right now that there's going to be absolutely nothing for a lot of these guys to do. I mean, they're basically look at where someone like Taz is too. I mean, really, what's Taz doing?
Color commentary.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Taz deserves, I think, a little bit better than that. Now, granted, it took a long time before the Dudley Boys. Everyone argued the Dudley Boys are being wasted, and look where they are now. But at the same time, look at all the talent that they are bringing in. I mean, they just signed, Justin Credible's now there. You have X-Pac returning. You have Rhino supposedly signing. You have Jerry Lynn signing. Tajiri. What are these guys going to do, and how are they going to fit into the mix? Now, what I've thought is maybe, that means that the undercard is going to get a little bit better, and the main events will still be, big, glamorous productions. But if they don't rotate that upper level, it's going to be the same thing that happened with WCW with the whole NWO and how they bought everybody and brought them in. And, maybe we're starting to see signs of that now, as far as with the ratings dip, and I think the ratings will dip even more. I mean, WCW really has a good shot of catching back up the ratings if this happens, and it's always happened. This is not the first time that they've brought in, that a company becomes stale. And it may be WCW's time again.
2 things I think that are going to be really interesting out of this. Number 1, if guys don't live up to their potential, guys like Billy Gunn, guys like we saw the Road Dogg, they're not going to put up with his kind of stuff anymore. If guys like that falter, there's not going to be a lot of give there. They're just going to say, hey, you know what? We don't need you. We got somebody to replace you.
Exactly.
So they're going to end up getting rid of them. The other thing, too, is that the World Wrestling Federation is signing guys right now. You look at Justin Credible and Jerry Lynn and Tajiri, really light heavyweight guys, which have never really Chris Benoit is the first in a long time I can remember getting a sustained main event push for any length of time. It's going to be interesting to see if they change their philosophy in going away from the bigger 270 to 400-pound guys like Rock, like Triple H, like Big Show, like Undertaker, like Kane. That's going to be something I think will be very interesting to see if they get away from with all the new talent they have.
Well, remember about 5 months ago, there was a story that...
Can I ask my second question?
Sure.
Okay, last week you said a special guest come on, but you didn't mention no name, and on Thursday, only one he didn't show up because I think that you said the manager, he said had open house this week. Is that special guest supposed to be on this week or today or next week?
Well, as far as who the special guest was going to be last week, I didn't want to jinx it last week. And
Yes.
we're trying to work it out for 2 weeks from now. So I don't want to jinx it because it is a big name.
It is a big name.
But from what we understand last week, his manager called actually after the show went off the air, like 5 minutes after the show went off the air, and his the guest's father-in-law was in the hospital having open heart surgery. So it's very understandable why he forgot to do our radio show. I can't blame the guy.
Sure.
So, but we're trying to work that out, and hopefully we'll have that here in the next couple weeks for you.
Right. Well, getting back to my point real quick.
Yes.
Remember about 6 months ago, they said they were going to give Dean Malenko the light heavyweight, that whole division.
And
revitalize it. So maybe we are seeing signs of that starting.
That's one thing I've heard they really want to do with Tajiri, is really maybe build a new light heavyweight division around him, which not a bad idea.
No, not a bad idea at all.
We are the Wrestling Guys, 457-1065. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'll be right back.
On Buckeye Country 106.5.
Not one phone call. No one understands your darn newspaper classified ad.
Sir, I am looking at our darn newspaper classified ad now, and it is perfectly clear. Sir, Ingrid missed hip, expect to perf to cap, edict Nick filler, pit time, immediate open, exit pennies.
What does that mean?
Sir, you place the ad.
With a newspaper classified ad, you get very limited space. Most job seekers don't speak classifiedese.
Sir, Ingrid is short for senior engineer.
Well, we need to change the ad.
You missed today's deadline, but if we hurry, your new ad will appear in,
Please.
3 days.
Oh, no. Ta-da! Your recruitment alternative has arrived. Online at DaytonHelpWanted.com. DaytonHelpWanted.com difference number 1. You have 100 words to describe the position. 2. The ad is placed instantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 3. Once you placed your ad, you can search the online database of local resumes, all for a cost lower than your newspaper ad. Browse your way to DaytonHelpWanted.com. Long name, amazing results.
Here's a bedtime story you ought to hear. I'm Bob Trussell, president of Tempur-Pedic. 6 years ago, I brought the now famous Tempur-Pedic bed from Sweden to America. Since then, millions have discovered my fatigue-fighting, energy boost.
And they are... Julie, okay over there? All right. You see, the best way to get things to work around here is smack it.
That's it.
No, you don't.
Put some glue on the control panel. That's all you need to do.
Just
tape it
smack
up.
it around.
Rub some dirt on it. It'll be fine.
Duct tape works wonders.
There you go. Duct tape isn't a marvelous thing.
I want to hear about your Valentine's Day plans. Anyway, Tommy, Dreamer, and Francine are going to be in studio sometime in the 8 o'clock hour, so get your questions lined up and make sure they're good. Julia's going to be very strenuously screening the phone. Strenuously. And
done anything strenuous in her life.
Probably not. But anyway, call in and say, Francine, we think you're Tommy, you're great, blah, 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 blah.
Shout out to Francine.
Don't give a shout out to Tommy or Francine. Just make sure that you have something, and, we're very excited to have them in a little bit later. We will talk about that, I'm sure, throughout the night. Let's go ahead and get you up to date what's happening in the wrestling world. WWF has officially signed Jerry Lynn to a new 3-year contract.
That will be great.
Not really sure exactly when he is going to debut in the WWF, but he is now signed, sealed, and soon to be delivered.
You're going to see a whole bunch of just great matches coming down the pike with Jerry Lynn on board. I mean, that's what Jerry Lynn versus Jericho. Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking Jerry Lynn and Jericho.
Well, and then if everything works out as far as to Jerry signing, and we know that Jerry Lynn was just incredible, had a great series of matches in 98, won the 13 World. I mean, there's a history there, so there's a lot of potential there for some great matches. And they could use the help because ratings are in. Yeah. Raw this past week did a 4.8.
Oh, my.
Nitro did a 2.1. Happy Valentine's Day. We are the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham and Willie F. here. And we mentioned it earlier. Let's go ahead and give out the details. Naked Jesus is coming to town.
Naked Jesus. I am so excited.
This Sunday, Naked Jesus will be in Dayton.
That's right.
And if you don't know what we're talking about Juventud Guerrera.
Yes,
who will be in town at the Fairfield Commons Mall at the Strike Zone this Sunday from 1 till 3. free autographs. So very cool thing for you.
Yeah, that is very cool.
I know we have a bunch of Juventud Guerrero fans. Seriously, we do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and you got to think, Juvi's not in WCW, not in the WWF. The only place he is wrestling right now is in Mexico. You can go ahead and kill that music down. That's okay, thanks. Anyway, but so Juventud Guerrero is this Sunday. If you don't know why we call him Naked Jesus.
Yes.
When WCW took their little Australian voyage, almost a year ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's been close to a year.
Yeah, Juventud Guerrero got in trouble at the Hilton or Marriott or wherever they were, and basically was in the lobby throwing chairs, naked, claiming he was Jesus.
That's right.
And it turned out that Juvi was, he was arrested and found out that he was on ecstasy. And, so he says he's gotten some treatment, he's gotten better, which we hope seriously, I mean, I don't want to knock the guy.
Yeah, he's been doing some indie shows, and supposedly he's gotten, he's gotten a lot better.
So that's all great, but still, I mean, for the sake of the laugh, we would just call him Naked Jesus. So, sometimes it's fun to do. But seriously, he's going to be here Sunday. Free autographs at the Strike Zone, Fairfield Commons Mall from 1 until 3. Go out there, say hi to Juventud Guerrero. And, let's face it, maybe one of the only times you get to see him. It may be a long, long time before he's around this area, unless he gets picked up by some of the major companies. But
True.
We shall see. Let's go to line 5 in Vandalia and talk to Joe. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Yeah, I had a question. Have you heard any update about Sid Vicious?
About Sid Vicious?
Yeah.
About the leg? I really haven't heard anything. The last we heard is that he was doing better than what they expected. And he's supposed to be out 6 to 8 months, but that's the last we heard about.
I would say you wouldn't see him for at least 4 more months.
And
at the
one
earliest.
question. How about China?
China's fine. China's just out there promoting her book.
Yeah.
The neck injury is part of a storyline. So, I would expect that you're probably going to see China in some kind of return, match at WrestleMania.
And that allows Billy Gunn to get really mad and do great promos.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Thanks a lot for the phone call.
What did he say? What did he say? What was his tagline at the very end? It was just so bad. Remember when he yelled at who was interviewing him? Coachman, I think.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, well, never mind.
I think it was so bad I blacked it out from my mind. Let's go to line 4 and talk to the Queen. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Queen of Darkness, and I wrestle for UWF.
Okay.
And I was calling in to let you know about a show they're having February the 24th.
Okay.
It's going to be at the John Bryant Community Center.
Okay.
And they're going to have such wrestlers as Playboy Buddy Rose, Minister of Pain, J.W. Hawk, L.A. Thunder, and I'll be out there. And they're also going to have Rough Rider 2000 and Fabulous Frederick Hollywood.
Okay, and that's going to be February the 24th?
Yes.
Okay, well, best of luck to you.
Okay, and on that to get information, they can call 937-879-1622.
1622?
Uh-huh.
Okay, best of luck. Bye-bye. You kill her. Julia's just vicious right now,
She likes to keep, Julie just likes to have the show move right along.
I know.
Yeah, it's a very tight show.
Got in, she did her thing.
We appreciate that.
We only have 2 hours. We want
I
to get
know.
as many people on as possible.
Absolutely.
God bless you.
By the way, if you want to hop on board, 457-1065, the phone number. And, of course, we talked a little bit earlier about Super Brawl happening this Sunday. You've got Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner for the WCW title. I don't know really what to expect from the pay-per-view this Sunday. It could wrap up a lot of storylines, like you said, or it could be like Nitro's been the last couple of weeks and just kind of plodding along and really not doing anything exciting, just kind of spinning the wheels because we have to.
I don't know. I think that they might actually try to do something. But maybe who knows? Who knows with WCW? That's a problem right now. I mean, I'm going to give WCW the benefit of the doubt, and when they do take the month off, and then that's the next time where I'll say, either yay or nay against them. Because right now, I mean, you really can't critique them accordingly, just due to the fact that no one really knows what's going on there.
Right, and I think that what's interesting is a lot of the guys that have not signed, bless you, Julia, a lot of the guys that have not signed, like we're expecting, Rob Van Dam to be somewhere.
Right.
We know that WCW has at least, tentatively inked, some kind of deal with Chris Daniels and Mike Modest,
yes,
which 2 great independent talents.
And AJ Styles.
And
the other guy,
Air
Paris. Air Paris.
Yes. So they are signing some young guys, which I think is a good move. It'll just be interesting to see if Bischoff has what it takes to kind of blend them in with what he wants to do in WCW. we'll have to wait and see.
I agree, and now Rob Van Dam, though, did say, he just did an interview, and he did say that he was actually looking forward to the ECW pay-per-view on March 13th. And he was actually really looking forward to and hoping that Paul had a spot for him on that pay-per-view.
You think?
I'm serious.
Well, Rob said that, there's a 50-50 chance?
50-50 chance.
He thinks there's a 50-50 chance that Paul Heyman will be able to pull off the pay-per-view with ECW next month. The latest we've heard about Paul Heyman possibly going to the World Wrestling Federation is really the same stuff we've already told you. He is wanting to try and find a way to save ECW.
Right.
And if he can't do that, then he will do what the only other thing left for him to do, and that's go to the World Wrestling Federation and work on the booking team. One thing that Dave Meltzer was talking about at the Wrestling Observer is that apparently Paul wants the WWF to agree to allow him to run spot shows for ECW and to allow WWF talent that's maybe not in a current storyline with the company to work those ECW shows for him.
And I think that they might be headed that way, because if you know what Jim Ross has been saying is that, like, when Just Incredible signed, that Just Incredible would still be allowed to work an ECW show if Paul Heyman needed it.
And also, from what we understand, Jerry Lynn, Rhino, all of the recent signings by the WWF, they all have the provision that they can go back and work for ECW if something, is there to go back to.
Right.
And so we'll wait and see what happens with that. Again, second hour, Tommy Dreamer and Francine will be in studio. Make sure you are ready for that. Let's go to line 7 in Greenville and talk to Ed. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, what's up?
This is a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
Well, that's good.
Hey, you guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it.
My first question is, what's happened to Sting?
Oh, you want to take it?
No, go ahead.
Sting ended up needing elbow surgery. He had some bone chips in his elbow. And from what I understand, he put the surgery off as long as he could.
Yeah.
And he was going to need somewhere between 3 and 6 months to rehab that. I never heard where he actually had the surgery. I'm assuming he's had it because Eric Bischoff, after the announcement was made he was buying WCW with fusing it, he said that he talked with Sting. Sting was excited about the change. Sting had some great ideas about how to come back, how to work him back in. So according to Eric Bischoff, Sting's ready to come back, and Sting has some great ideas. What that is, remains to be seen.
Great. Well, do you think he'll ever go back to the old makeup?
No, I think that's done. That's for a younger guy.
Oh, okay. Thanks, guys.
Sure. Hey, Ed, appreciate the phone call. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
All right, if you want to take his slot, 457-1065, the phone number. Julia looks like she's holding her breath. I don't know exactly. You're holding your breath now.
What, are you hiccuping?
Oh, okay. We didn't know what was going on, so, okay. You're going to be okay over there, right? All right. Hey, real quick, we also want to mention that the HWA has their free Tuesday night showcases at the Les Thatcher Main Event Pro Wrestling Camp down in Cincinnati. 513-771-1650, the phone number. And coming up on, March 16th.
March 16th? 16th, I think it is.
That's Friday night.
I believe so.
Grand Victoria Casino. The Friday in the week of St. Patrick's Day. Was that 17th or 18th?
Yeah, that one.
Grand Victoria Casino. Big show lined up. Well, not the big show, but a big show.
Right.
With Kane on the card. Yes. Leviathan from the OVW. Who else is going to be there from HWA? A-Squad, Shark Boy, Ray Steele.
You know all those people will be there. I don't know in what capacity yet, because I think, I've been hearing that on the Tuesday shows, there's a lot of stuff that still needs to work itself out as far as who gets to be at the casino show.
Right.
But if you haven't been there, from what I've heard, the crowds have started to get really, really big.
At the casino?
No, at the Tuesday shows. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know I thought you were there.
No, I haven't got a chance to get down there yet.
Okay. But if you want to check that out, 513-771-1650, the phone number, also online at hwaonline.com. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Chris in Yellow Springs. Phone line's open for you at 457-1065. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country, 106.5.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys at Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham, Willie F. here in the studio on a Valentine's Day.
Yes.
I guess we need to should say Happy Valentine's Day to my wife, Beth, and my daughter, Hope.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of be the single guy here.
We all live vicariously through you. And your
That's what it is.
Escapades.
You all live through my loneliness.
Yes. And also scheduled to join us at 8:30, Tommy Dreamer and Francine in the studio. So if you have questions lined up for them, be just right there by the phone, and we'll try and cover everything. Obviously, we'll talk about ECW and, of course, the big show tomorrow night here at the 755 Union Hall. Let's get back to the phone lines and go to line 1 in Yellow Springs. It's Chris. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good, Chris. How are you?
I just want to know what happened to Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon, I just think's been out right now until the storyline dictates that he comes back in, and I think they're kind of building towards something with Vince coming on and going to show all this footage of
there's been a lot
Linda
there's been a lot of talk about a possible invasion angle being run with the new signings with Jerry Lynn and those guys, and it's quite possible we could see maybe a takeover. Shane McMahon coming in with the new guys and trying to run his dad out or do something along those lines again. Right. We've seen it before, but I really thought Shane McMahon would come back alongside the Big Show. That's kind of been the one that he's tagged himself with over the last year or so. But obviously that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, and speaking of Big Show, one thing I know that I don't know if you've touched about this on the hotline. Just if a lot of people are saying, did the guy lose any weight? Just to let you know, the weight is still an issue, and Jim Ross was very adamant last week with his column, saying that Big Show's weight is still being watched, and he's not where he's supposed to be yet, and he has to decide if he wants to be in this business or not.
Did you notice that on Raw, they switched his gear to that double singlet so that it's a little more slimming than what the Big Show T-shirt?
Oh, we noticed
But
that.
if they weren't happy with it, why did they let him back?
I think they needed him back.
Yeah, I think they're in a position where The Rock is going to really be gone for most of the month of March filming The Mummy Return, or filming The Scorpion King. And so I think that they had to bring back somebody that had a name value, and the Big Show really is the best one for that. I think that, we've talked about this before. I think he is, he moves better than he did before he went down to OVW.
Yeah.
He certainly looks thicker up in the upper chest and his arms.
He supposedly has a better attitude.
Mm-hmm. But he still has that little tie around his waist, which that's the first thing people are looking at.
Absolutely.
So, well, we shall see. Let's go to line 6 in New Lebanon. It's Mike. Hi, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good, Mike. Good.
The question I have is, when is Hulk Hogan and Macho Man them coming back to? Are they going to come back to compete with Ric Flair?
That's what I would say would happen. I mean, that just makes sense. However, you gotta remember the sale has to go through right now. Hulk Hogan still has a lawsuit against the current WCW, so I don't think that they'd be in a position to bring him back. Now, Bischoff has already said publicly that Hulk Hogan will have something to do with that company. What exactly it is, we don't know yet. Whether it's going to be behind the scenes, which if it's Hulk Hogan, I severely doubt. But he will have something to do with that company. But you got to wait for the whole month of WCW to be off first, and then I'm sure that they'll bring Hogan back. They'll probably build up to it.
I'm sorry, Mike. The one thing that was said about Hulk Hogan when the sale was first announced, a lot of people believe that Hulk Hogan is one of the minority owners of the company, and there was also some talk that Bischoff would bring in Hogan as Booker, which could be disastrous.
Very disastrous.
What else, Mike?
Another question is, when's Macho Man coming back? I know he came back for that one time, to help Hulk Hogan, with the new blood and all that stuff, but we haven't seen him since.
I don't know. Macho Man just got done filming all of his scenes for Spider-Man. I think that's all wrapped up. Julia looking at me kind of strange. We've talked about this on this very show. Macho Man is in the Spider-Man film that's being filmed right now.
Well, this is only the second week I've listened to you guys.
Oh, no. Julia's looking at me like, what are you talking about? Macho Man's in a film? I don't, Mike, I don't blame you, okay? I don't blame the callers, but someone who's been here week in and week out.
But were you the one that was saying it? I mean, like last week?
Yes, he did.
That's why I don't pay attention to what you say.
The one thing, Mike, about the Macho Man, I don't know if he really is wanting to come back right away. From what I understand, he has a very high asking price right now.
Yeah.
And until that comes down, I don't think that anybody's going to be very interested in Randy Savage.
Well, another question I was going to ask you is, the thing with Road Warrior Animal, if it was me doing the matches, I would bring Road Warrior Hawk back to beat the hell out of him.
Well, no one knows if Road Warrior Hawk is in any condition to to come back.
Yeah, if you remember when they had the Australian tour, the thing that you saw maybe on pay-per-view with Dennis Rodman and all that.
Yeah.
After that pay-per-view, on that tour, Hawk had some serious health issues, some stuff involving his heart. And from what I understand, Hawk has not wrestled since then.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
And I don't know exactly how serious it is, if it's career-threatening, but he's been out at least, I mean, at least 4 or 5 months right now.
Yeah, the last time I seen him was when he, both of them were up in the WWF. That was the last time I seen him when he fell off the Titantron. That was the last time I seen him. And I was just wondering if he was going to come back or what.
I think it's another issue with almost in the same vein as Road Dogg Jesse James. First of all, Hawk has to be healthy enough to come back, but then he had also garnered a little bit of a reputation behind the scenes also. I know Marty Adams went to a show up in Cleveland, I think it was, and Hawk, it was an indie show, and Hawk was really just a little bit tipsy backstage, and at one point during the match, even like slipped off the rope, fell down, and just started laughing.
Yeah,
I mean, so he was, he's really hasn't conducted himself in a very professional manner, particularly, to make yourself desirable to the WWF or WCW.
But another thing I heard, too, a rumor that Bret Hart was coming back to the WWF.
No, that will not happen.
Chance.
As long as McMahon owns the WWF, there's a few things, there's very few things I would say in wrestling would never happen. That is one I would say would never, ever happen.
I agree.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. Appreciate the phone call. 457-1065. We have a couple open phone lines if you want to hop on board tonight on the Wrestling Guys, 106.5. And again, we want to mention the Wrestling Guys hotline, 285-0991, the phone number. Now brought to you by
Grips and Tips.
There you go. In West Carrollton, 859-4300, the phone number where you can get your XFL gear. They also have collectibles. They also customize and repair golf clubs as well. So very cool. And again, they are on board the Wrestling Guys hotline at 285-0991. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know, it'd be very interesting to hear what some of the callers think about this. A column was written in the Pro Wrestling Torch, and it dealt with the fact that maybe, just maybe, and I got to say I kind of agree with this, and maybe we're going to be part of the problem here, is that wrestling fans are now too smart for their own good. In other words, now people have opinions on wrestlers based on things they don't see that happen on Monday night. Mr. and Mrs. Normal Wrestling fan that doesn't listen to this show, doesn't call the hotline, doesn't have the internet, they don't know about Hulk Hogan's reputation behind the scenes.
Sure.
They don't know about the Road Dogg's problems. They don't know about the perceived blow-ups between, wrestlers that we talk about.
But you know what? Well, that's one of the things that I think made, and you can do it. You can either choose to do it, good or poorly. That's one of the things that I think made ECW flourish so much. They were able to take those things that that was on the internet. They were actually probably the first company to use the internet accordingly to go against these smart marks, and they were able to pull storylines from that. And they were able to use the stuff that was actually going on behind backstage, as well as guys coming in, from either WCW or WWF.
But where is ECW now?
Well, I understand that, but at the same point, I think that that's the way that, I think we're just going to have to see another morphing of the wrestling business. You look at WCW, they tried to do that, but they did it so poorly because, first of all, they had Vince Russo in there, who all he was trying to do was put himself over instead of put the product over. I think it can be done wisely, and I think that they can make little, there's been times in WWF where they've made little tiny hints at the smart marks. But you can't really cater your entire show to that.
No.
And I think that, if you still do a little bit of that, and I think Heyman coming on board to the WWF, you'd see blah, 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 blah. You'd see a lot more of that in the product, and I think that would be actually very interesting.
I agree. I just wonder what some of the fans think. Do you like the reporting that we do, that the internet does?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like knowing the behind-the-scenes stuff? I think that if you listen to the show and you call the hotline, obviously you do.
Sure.
But kind of interested to hear what your opinion is. 457-1065. Let's take one call before we go to a break. Let's go up to Troy and talk to Justin. You are on the Wrestling Guys. Turn your radio down.
All right, I got one question. I got two questions for you guys.
Okay.
The first one is, you guys said Hoopy only wrestles in Mexico.
No, he's actually worked with XPW too.
He's wrestling predominantly in Mexico right now.
Too.
Yeah.
And then also, I got on the XPW message board.
Yeah.
And they said the Sandman was at the office. I didn't know if you guys heard if he was going there, if he was going to be at My Bloody Valentine or not.
Sandman was at the offices a couple weeks ago, but we haven't had any word about what's happened out of that. Sandman did wrestle over the weekend for the IWA down in Puerto Rico, but that's the last we've heard outside of him working for ECW.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. Appreciate the phone call. 457-1065, the phone number. A couple open phone lines for you to hop on board. Tommy Dreamer, Francine in studio and at, 8:30 or so.
Something around there.
But keep it here. You're listening to The Wrestling Guy.
On Buckeye Country 106.5. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys radio show. I'm Willie F. Shawn Stidham's here, and also Julia on the other side of the board. We are taking your phone calls at 457-106.5.
There's no point on the phone. I thought you were talking about the phone. I'm sorry.
No.
I didn't have the headphones
I
on.
did say 106.5.
You said 106.5. We're taking
your
phone calls at 106.5.
Well, just in case, people don't have it turned in properly on their dial.
There you go. Let's go ahead and go to line 1 and talk to Devlin in West Carrollton. How you doing, Devlin?
Pretty good, and you?
Oh, not bad. Good.
All right, I got a question for you guys to ask Tommy and Francine when they get in.
Okay. You don't want to ask him?
Well, I'm on the line now, ain't I?
Well, you can, if you can get back through, you can ask him then.
You can try to get there. That's possible. Okay, well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Devlin.
All right, when's China coming back?
We just talked about that. We think that China will probably be back sometime around WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
Yep.
Good enough. I'll try to get back on there.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Devlin. And again, he's talking about Tommy Dreamer and Francine. They are expected to be in the studio at around 8:30. So let's go ahead and real quick want to mention again, Papa John's feeding us tonight. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Papa John's.
Dana and the boys in Kettering, 294-7272, the phone number. And they have now a thin crust pizza. You can get a large 3 toppings for only $9.99. Again, the phone number, 294-7272. Dana always taking very good care of us here, and we always appreciate that.
Definitely appreciate that.
Free food. Whatever happened to Randy Kirby? We talked about doing
Randy
a Where
Kirby
Are They Now segment. Randy used to come by every week and bring us like some cookies or some bread, bless you, Julia, or something along those lines. Randy Kirby has disappeared. The nightmare.
I don't know. I think Randy Kirby may have had, the same problem like Road Dogg and some of those people.
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
Well, it could have happened.
Nice.
Randy's not that like that. But Randy's taken one too many chair shots, I think, from maybe the
that might be
twins,
it. See, that might be it.
Something like that.
Okay.
Speaking of the 420 Twins, Outlaw Championship Wrestling, running some shows in March. If you want details about OCW, you can give them a call at 229-8189. Also, Unified Championship Wrestling, again, tomorrow night, along with the UPWA at the 755 Union Hall. And you can get the details by calling 640-2794. On that show, Mr. Saturday Night Phil Mamula taking on New Jack.
Yeah.
There's a little history there because at one of the last UCW shows,
New Jack came out.
New Jack attacked Phil Mamula. Phil not too happy about that, so now he's going to try and extract a little bit of revenge. And I don't know if he can do that against New Jack or not. New Jack feels no pain.
You don't. He feels no pain?
I don't think he feels pain.
Okay.
But anyway.
Possible.
Bless you again, Julia. Also, The Record takes on Rhino, and you've also got, of course, Tommy Dreamer taking on Big Jim Hutchinson, a guy that Tommy Dreamer brought into ECW for a tryout.
That's right.
And now I guess Big Jim feels like, hey, I'll show you what I can do and prove it to you. I guess Cam the Man Collins going to be in the corner of Big Jim Hutchinson.
That's what I've heard.
Also, OCW tag team titles on the line. That's going to be on the show. And a 3-way dance. That's what I am hearing. Logan Kane, the guy you have voted as your Wrestler of the Year, Indie Wrestler of the Year,
right.
2 years in a row. He's going to be on a 3-way dance with, is it Goth Brimstone, and Chris Hero.
Oh, okay.
So a little 3-way dance action there.
Great.
So, again, 640-2794. Violent Championship Wrestling. Get the details from them at violentchampionshipwrestling.com. And we already mentioned the HWA, HWAonline.com. Or get the details, 513-771-1650. 457-1065 is our phone number if you want to hop on board. Again, Julia, are you feeling okay now? I mean, you had the hiccups earlier.
No, the hiccups all gone.
Yeah, my hiccups are all
You were
gone.
turning a little blue. Did you get anything good for Valentine's Day? We actually had calls on the Wrestling Guys hotline.
Did you really?
Wishing Julia a happy Valentine's
That's so nice.
I know,
Which I thought
that was very nice.
It was very nice.
That was very sweet.
Very nice.
And we
well, a lot of people give to charity, too. So.
I guess you would know a lot about that.
Sure.
Especially the way you're dressed now. I guess you would know a lot about that.
Things getting a little personal. 457-1065, the phone number if you want to hop on board tonight. And looking ahead to No Way Out, that's shaping up. Looks like it's going to be a very interesting pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The one thing that everybody's wondering is, Shawn Michaels, you reported over the weekend, has signed a new long-term deal with the WWE.
Correct.
How is he going to be brought back into the company? One thing that we batted around with and kind of heard over the weekend, there's a possibility that Shawn Michaels is going to get involved at No Way Out in that main event between Steve Austin and Triple H and cost Triple H that match, which would make perfect sense storyline-wise for what we have heard, is that the main event at WrestleMania will be Rock and Austin, and then also you're going to have Triple H against Shawn Michaels. That would set up that match beautifully.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you know what? You should be a booker.
Don't go there.
Okay.
But how exciting would it be to have Shawn Michaels come back in Texas at WrestleMania, 70,000 people.
Absolutely.
And to face Triple H. That's the one match I think that everybody feels like they didn't see from Shawn Michaels.
I agree. And I really thought that was going to be Triple H's stipulation because you talked about it on the hotline, if I remember right. See, I love how we just plug each other's hotlines when we do.
It's the same hotline. But
It's the same hotline, but... Anyway, how you said that, since Shawn Michaels, the last match that he had was against Stone Cold Steve Austin, that would be why Triple H would be bringing him in, because he thinks that there would be a little bit of heat there.
But that didn't happen. So as we said, now the final stipulation for
we
No
still
Way
have
Out.
one more Raw and one more SmackDown to go through, too.
Yeah, but we have heard that you're going to have, for the main event, the stipulations. Your first match is one-on-one, Austin versus Triple H. Your second match is going to be a street fight rules, Stone Cold Steve Austin against Triple H again. And then the third match, the third fall, if it happens...
Gosh, I wonder if it would.
Will be that steel cage affair. And it also looks like you're going to have maybe a three-way tag team dance. It looks like they're going with Undertaker, Kane, against
they've already
Edge and
announced
Christian,
They've
against
announced
the
that.
Dudleys.
They've announced that?
Yeah.
Because, Vince was busy on the phone and finally just said...
So that's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's going to be good. Intercontinental title match.
Yeah, you also have The Rock versus Kurt Angle.
So that is shaping up to be a very good pay-per-view. It'll be interesting to see exactly what they do with The Rock, because from what we know, again, he's going to be missing a lot of March going into WrestleMania, and to see if maybe they work some kind of injury angle with him at the pay-per-view to see if they're going to try and set up something for his absence. We'll see. Let's go to line 3 and talk with Jeffrey. How are you?
All right.
What's up?
I was wondering if you guys know if Droz is out for good or not.
Oh, yeah.
Draws? Yes. Yeah. Now, you can still read... He does a column now on WWF.com, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
And he also is on their internet show, Bite This. So, I mean, he's still very much with the company, but, yeah, Droz is essentially done.
Has he got out of the wheelchair yet?
No, he's not going to, which is one of the reasons he's done.
So he's out for good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeffrey. One thing that happened out of that with Droz, and one thing the WWF did, which I thought was great, is they paid to have an elevator installed in his home.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which was, I mean, I not that I'm out purchasing elevators or anything like that, but something along the lines of like $200,000 or something like that for the elevator in his house. Of course, he had to remodel the home and everything to have this elevator in the middle of the home. But they went ahead and footed the bill for that. And, it's just a tragic situation, but it goes to show you exactly the dangers of the business. Unfortunately, it happens. One thing last week, Rick Riley of Sports Illustrated, who's a great columnist for that magazine, wrote a column in last week's issue, and it's the issue that features the XFL, about backyard wrestling and how some of these guys, in one case, there was somebody who was 20, 21 years old, and he was talking about how he tries to speak sometimes, and he knows what he wants to say, but he can't make the words come out, and because he has soft spots in his brain. From taking 10 dives off the top of the house, or they even talked about the table of death in some of these backyard matches, where they take a table and they wrap it with barbed wire, put fluorescent tubes on it, then put thumbtacks across it, and then set it on fire. That is stupid. Well, I'm sorry I know we have people listening to this show that are doing backyard stuff. If you're doing that, you're stupid.
Right, exactly. I mean, now did you ever get a chance to see that backyard wrestling thing on MTV?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
See, I think
saw.
actually MTV did a very good job of discouraging backyard
I
wrestling.
think they did a very good job.
The thing is, with backyard
horrible.
wrestling, there is smart backyard wrestling and there's stupid backyard wrestling. If you are back there and it's supervised and you're taking precautions, because a lot of times, and some of the people in this column didn't know this either, sometimes kids don't understand. You don't actually put pressure on the holes, or you don't actually drive the head into the mat. You don't actually nail them with the chair.
Shawn, you're giving too much away.
I know, damn it. But still, I think that's something that, if you're doing it supervised, if you're making sure that the kids aren't, gouging themselves with glass, if they are, making sure you're not doing, pile drivers or power bombs and stuff like that, that's fine. It can be just as safe as backyard football or anything like that. But if you are setting things on fire, or you are, carving yourself with these fluorescent light tubes, thinking that you're going to go to the WWF. One of the guys in the article said, well, you know what, the same guy that was talking about how he can't speak because of the brain injuries. He said, you know what, in 20 years after I've been a superstar and the #1 guy in the business, I can afford any surgeries I need.
Yeah.
There is
all I gotta
not
say,
a surgery that can fix your brain.
The one guy that all these backyard guys look up to is Mick Foley. When Mick Foley can come out and say, listen, if you're doing backyard wrestling, you're an idiot. I mean, come on, listen to him.
The thing is about Mick Foley.
You do? How do you view it?
I think backyard wrestling is stupid. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But, Mick Foley is great. I love Mick Foley.
Right.
But I look at that, and maybe some other people do too, a little hypocritical.
I don't think it's hypocritical.
He was doing that stupid stuff, and it kind of helped him. I mean,
sure, but he's been through it though too, and I think realizes that a lot of the stuff that he did was dumb.
I think there's two views when he says that though.
The other thing about Mick Foley is that Mick Foley went to wrestling school.
Exactly.
The tape did open up the doors for him, and I think in a way, and again, maybe it is a little bit hypocritical, not really of Mick Foley, but of the WWF, because they do sell the three faces of Foley, where you see that's how he got his start.
Yeah.
They're coming out with the DVD of Mick Foley. You see the Mick Foley dolls and the T-shirts and everything. So you can see why kids maybe go, well, Mick Foley did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which don't get me wrong, I love Mick Foley. One of my favorite guys, one of the best interviews we've had on this show.
I agree.
But, and I don't blame him for this, but you have to go to the parents and go and look, do you know what your kids are doing? One of the parents in the article said, well, yeah, he comes home limping sometimes, but you know what? He seems like he's having fun.
He gets good grades. He gets good grades. He bleeds on his homework a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right.
Just if
he still turns it in.
If you're serious, then just go to a wrestling school.
Absolutely.
I mean, that'll help you more than whatever you're doing in your backyard.
I agree 100%.
Yes, and even we always say go to Les Thatcher's, go down to Texas, go to Shawn Michaels. Well, he sold that, but you could go down there. There's a lot of different wrestling schools you can choose from, but make sure you're getting some training. If you haven't went through it, don't go out there and try and do a hurricane off the second story of your house
not at all.
Through a flaming table, because odds are it's not going to turn out very well.
And don't watch videotapes and think that that just because you watch the videotape, hey, it can pull off that move.
The one thing that Rick Riley wrote again in his Sports Illustrated column, go to the CNNSI website to see the column if you don't have the magazine, because he did a great job with it. The one thing he also mentioned is that the guy who is making these backyard tapes is basically paying the kids jack. I mean, they're not getting anything.
Jack cheese? Or?
Maybe if they're lucky, they get that.
Gets Monterey
This guy is taking
that actually soaks up blood pretty well.
Does it?
Yeah,
okay.
This guy is taking 19, 20-year-olds, if they're that old, and saying, "Hey, I'll put you on video, and you're going to be a big star." And these kids are going out there and killing themselves to try and get on this tape, and then he's raking in the money. And this tape, backyard tape, is doing gonzo business, and these kids aren't making any money off of it.
That's what I've heard too.
Which is sad. He's planning more. He's planning more backyard tapes.
Well, if there's going to be suckers out there to do it, then
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know what I mean. If you're stupid enough to be like, okay, I'll do that.
Absolutely.
Come on, with no training.
457-1065. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your phone calls. You can chime in with your opinion about backyard wrestling. Anything else you want to. Open phones right now at 457-1065. We are the Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5.
There are a lot of careers that ask for a commitment from you, but how many actually make a commitment to you? Choose the career of union carpenter, and the Southwest Ohio Carpenters Union will help you learn, grow, and make the most of your skills year after year. At their state-of-the-art training center in Monroe, you'll receive the very best in comprehensive training, not only at the apprentice level, but you'll also get ongoing training throughout your career to keep you up to date on the latest in building technologies. As a union carpenter, you'll get top compensation and a great benefits package that includes an excellent pension program. Plus, you'll go to work each day knowing that you're building more than just a future for you and your family. You're framing the future of an entire city, and that's a pretty good feeling of accomplishment. Call the Southwest Ohio Carpenters Union today at 513-539-2759 for information on how you can get started. That's 513-539-2759. The Southwest Ohio Carpenters Union, 513-539-2759. We're framing your future.
Here's a bedtime story you ought to hear. I'm Bob Trussell, president of Tempur-Pedic. 6 years ago, I brought the now famous Tempur-Pedic bed from Sweden to America. Since then, millions have discovered my fatigue-fighting, energy-boosting, weightless sleep system. Now, 25,000 medical professionals and sleep clinics recommend us. TV, radio, magazines, and newspapers give us rave reviews. We used NASA's anti-G-force research to invent a viscoelastic, weightless sleep material that can cut nighttime tossing and turning by 83%. Tempur-Pedic's exclusive technology is recognized by NASA and received the Achievement Award from the U.S. Space Foundation. Even if you suffer from back or neck pain, you can sleep as well as I do. Here's the number to call.
Call 1-800-938-4422 for your free sample of Tempur-Pedic material and a free Better Sleep video. Call now, 1-800-938-4422. That's 1-800-938-4422.
Whether you're aware of it or not, you know a victim of domestic violence. Every 9 seconds, a woman is beaten, and chances are her children witnessed the crime. In Montgomery County, 45% of all female homicides are a result of domestic violence. What can you do? Support Artemis Center for Alternatives to Domestic Violence. Send a donation today. To help, or if you need help, call the 24-hour hotline at 222-SAFE.
Do you have dreams?
Do you have goals? Everyone does, no matter what race or color they are.
Talk to each other.
Listen to each other. Sure, we're all different,
But we're also all the same.
understand the similarities.
Respect the differences.
Help end prejudice in your lifetime. Call 1-800-934-3430 or log on to www.whitehouse.gov. Together, we can build one America in the 21st century. Brought to you by the President's Initiative on Race, the Leadership Conference Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
This is Buckeye Country, 106.5 WPKI.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys radio show. I'm Willie F. Shawn Stidham is, well, he's left a little bit, but he should be back. We are awaiting the arrival of Big Daddy Raj Cox and Francine, and supposedly Tommy Dreamer, too. So
That's
I know
exciting.
they just got done doing a viewer call-in.
Yes, they did.
And we were watching.
I didn't see Dreamer on there, though, so hopefully everything's okay with him. But Francine is definitely there. Let's bring over one of our favorite people, though.
That's right. Here you go.
Dana, come on over here.
Dana,
Dana
come on
from
over.
Papa John's is here.
How you
and
doing,
Dana
guys?
brought by the new thin crust pizza Papa John's has. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it's something new they came up with. It's of course it's not the hand toss. The hand toss has the border around it. It's a thin. It's kind of crispy. A lot of people like it. It's got a special shaker sauce seasoning that goes on top of it. It's fantastic. We got a deal right now. Large 3-topping, $9.99.
And the phone number they can call to
294-7272 or Papa.
Wow, 294-PAPA.
294-PAPA.
That always works out well.
See?
You like that, Joy? See, that's creative marketing.
And I will give up my mic for pizza.
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
given up my mic to Dana.
I was hoping you'd give it up
If you would
just in
just bring in
general.
pizza every once in a while, I would give up my mic.
I got you a couple hand tossed and some thin down there.
How did you hurt your... Dana walks in. I go downstairs and meet him and goes, well, I'm trying to figure out how to carry all this in with one hand.
What happened?
What happened to you? You got to...
A couple weeks ago at work, walking down the steps, I just walked a little bit too fast, slipped, fell, broke in
Workman's
5 places.
comp? Oh, my gosh.
You know, all the fun
Jeez.
stuff.
5 places?
As my son would call it, I'm being dopey.
Well, way to take a bump, Dana, so that's a nice job. But
God.
Dana
Appreciate
from
it, guys.
Papa
Thank you,
John's,
thank you.
thank you very much. And again, the phone number, Papa John's, 294-7272 or 294-PAPA. That large 3-topping pizza, the thin crust, $9.99. And we're about to dig in ours, so make sure you get one. Let's go to line 1 in Fairborn. It's Johnny. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
How you guys doing?
Good.
I just want to say that I used to do backyard wrestling for about a year.
Yeah.
And because of it, I have a bum knee now. I mean, my leg is just like all messed up. And it's so bad where I have to work at home now.
Well, you take a look, I mean, not just the backyard wrestlers, but take a look at the guys that we watch every week in the WWF or WCW or ECW when we could watch them on a weekly basis. These guys are in pain a lot of the time.
Right.
And it's really, I mean, you ever see Mick Foley climb a staircase? It's pretty painful to even watch.
Right.
So if you want to do that as your career, as your profession, certainly we're all for it. We love the sport. But you need to do it. You need to do it properly. You need to get the right training. And, backyard wrestling certainly has its place. But, the stuff you see on these tapes and the stuff that is being focused on by the mainstream media, like the MTV special in the 2020s and all that, is very negative. And it doesn't help professional wrestling overall when you've got these guys going out and, again, carving into their skulls with fluorescent light bulbs and then coming back and saying, well, we want to be just like Mick Foley or we want to be just like, Sandman or anybody else. It does not do pro wrestling any good for that to happen.
Right. I mean, I didn't do anything like that. Like, my ending move, we have the shed, like, near my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
My ending move was it Macho Man's leg drop or
Hogan's leg drop?
Yeah, Hogan's leg. That was my ending move. And he just like, oh my knee's just so scarred up, it's just so bad. And after, like, man, I'm trying to talk all my friends out of doing it because there's like maybe like 9, maybe 10 of us that still do it to this day. I'm trying to talk them out of not doing it. They're saying, oh yeah, it's cool, and all this stuff. Oh, you guys, you don't need to do that. I mean, it's it's bad enough that you're trying to kill yourself pretty much out there, 'cause like you guys said, they don't know what they're doing. And I don't know, they're just not listening to me right now.
I mean, I remember, when I was in, junior high and all that we did, some wrestling, horsing around and stuff like that. And I remember, Dave McIntosh had a birthday party. And
yeah, but you had like little wrestling buddies.
No,
you had like those little things. Come on.
That's so
You used to wrestle with the Macho King and stuff. No, but you know what I meant. Those little tiny wrestling things.
Yeah. No, but on a serious
That's
note.
even cute too.
Yes.
Aww.
But we had supervision. There were certain moves, we couldn't do, and nobody ever got hurt.
Right.
Which we were lucky in some cases because, even an atomic drop or anything, a clothesline, we've seen that. That can be, and it's like it's fatal if you were doing it, full bore and just, trying to absolutely rip the head off of the other guy you're doing it with.
And adrenaline says a lot, too. I mean, what people don't realize, too, is, when these guys are trained and everything, they can actually turn down that adrenaline just a little bit. But when you're in there and in the moment, sometimes you can be, well, except the guys on, serious roids. Except those guys that get the roid rage.
Any names you want to bring up? Or?
No, there's none.
Okay.
Nope. I'm not going to say anything.
Johnny, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, appreciate the phone call. Take care of yourself. Take care of your knee, too.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 457-1065. You want to hop on board. By the way, if you want to email us, you can do so, too. The Wrestling Guys at AOL.com is the email address if you want to contact us through there. And about 10 minutes or so, we're expected to have Francine, at least Francine this
At least Francine.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer.
But isn't that enough?
For Valentine's Day, absolutely.
For Valentine's Day,
although
it's,
you would
it's
think
enough.
that Tommy...
No, you didn't see her on the show. I was watching her on the show.
You'd think that Tommy would make sure that he's in town with her on Valentine's Day.
Well, I
mean, maybe he is. I don't know.
He might be.
He just wasn't on the show, so I'm a little bit concerned now.
You shouldn't be concerned.
If it's just Francine, that's fine. She's a great guest in her own right. But, we were kind of excited to have having both of them in here, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We do. We have
come on, we got Dana.
And Dana's here,
We got Dana. Dana's,
Dana brings pizza. That's all we need.
Right.
All we have to do is set that up, and that's great. Okay. Right, Dana? We're stretching time here. Because we were like, okay, we knew they were going to be here like 8:15 to 8:30.
Right.
We were kind of like hoping more for the 8:15. Again, Tommy Dreamer, Francine, New Jack, and Rhino all going to be in town tomorrow night at the 755 Union Hall. Big show planned for that. And
Dana, you going to the show?
I heard about it today. I was going to try to, yes.
Say yes. There you go.
There you go. Say
Yep.
There you go. See, look, Dana's going.
Yes.
So that means that everyone else can go.
You need to go and, give Dana some support for his broken hand.
That's right.
But 640-2794, the phone number for UCW. They are also running another show on Friday in Wilmington.
Yes.
And we'll let Raj and those guys talk about that when they get here. 457-1065, the phone number. Julia's like having like personal consultations with everybody that calls
I think it
tonight.
is. Julia's like doing a therapist thing on the side.
Here's what happens normally when you call in. You call in, Julia answers.
Here, you want to do it? Here, go ahead.
Okay.
Call in.
Okay, I'm ringing.
Hello.
Hello, wrestling.
Wrestling guys.
Hi, I want to talk to the wrestling guys.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Bob from Middletown.
Okay, hold on. I'll put you on here in just a second.
That's normally what happens.
That's normally.
But tonight, what I think is happening right now,
It's
and
the
I'm not positive of this. I think Julia is running a little 900 operation on the side.
It's
because she's getting credit card numbers tonight. I
You're
don't
right.
know what that's all about.
You know what? It's just the extra special love. She just wants to give a little bit of care because of being Valentine's Day.
I guess it's a little Valentine love that she's giving out to the callers
That's
tonight.
beautiful.
So if it's if you are lonely on Valentine's Day,
call up and talk to Julia.
You can call because Julia is talking to everybody at great length tonight. So she's making some friends.
That's
which
nice.
is very important. So, you okay over there, Julia?
What?
What was that all about?
When I get off the air,
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just answering some questions that you guys have already answered.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Instead of,
Well, she's screening.
touching up the
That's
stuff
nice.
that we've already talked about. I just answered it for them.
So what you're doing is people that are just tuning in, they can call you
Right.
and get basically a reset of what we've talked about already.
Yeah, instead of dragging it all back up again for the
You're
people
like
that
the
have been listening since
you're like
7
the Ann
o'clock.
Heller of the wrestling guys.
I don't know what that is.
Isn't that Ann Heller? Isn't that the one that you can? No, wait.
Ann Heller.
Isn't that the?
I don't know who Ann
Wait, no,
Heller
she's the food critic. No, I'm talking about like Dear Abby. You're the Dear Abby.
Ann Landers.
Ann Landers. Thank you.
Ann Landers.
Thank you.
Oh, you are pretty dumb. Huh?
They are.
Oh, okay. By the way, resetting the news in case you are just joining us and you can't get through to talk to Julia, we'll tell you what's going on.
Dana,
Jerry
she
Lynn
doesn't
has
get any
signed.
pizza.
Yeah, no
She gets
pizza
none.
for Julia. Jerry Lynn has signed a 3-year contract with the World Wrestling Federation. Terms were not announced. We're not sure about when his start date will be, but we are expecting, I guess, probably before WrestleMania. I would think they would get Jerry Lynn involved. His contract, like the others they've signed the last week, does have the provision that if there's something to do in ECW, if they run a show, that they can do that.
Julia's just took a bump.
Julia's trying to take bumps now. This is nice.
That's nice.
The No Way Out stipulation has been announced. A 2 out of 3 fall match between Steve Austin and Triple H. The first fall, a straight wrestling match. The second fall, a street fight. And the third fall will be inside of a steel cage.
If it happens.
If it happens. That third fall. You never know in wrestling that third fall is going to happen.
You don't know.
You know. I mean, Dana, how many times have you seen that third fall just not happen?
Few times.
Really?
See,
Yeah.
there you go.
But for a pay-per-view.
For a pay-per-view?
For a pay-per-view in the main event.
From what I've
Anything can happen in the WWF.
Anything can happen. You're correct.
Thunder tonight. Jeff Jarrett and Rick Steiner take on Dustin Rhodes and Diamond Dallas Page. Conan against Buff Bagwell. Also, you've got Mike Awesome and the Cat going one-on-one. And NBC says Lauren Michaels can calm down. We'll make sure that the XFL is off the air by 11 o'clock. They're going to try and trim down the halftime, eliminate the player introductions, so Lauren Michaels doesn't get all upset and bent out of shape like he did this past week.
Well, you know, he's getting a little old and grumpy now.
A little bit.
He is.
Yeah.
He's getting a little old and grumpy. He's been around there for a while.
457-1065, the phone number. We're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and take another break. We're going to get everything set up here for Francine.
And get some pizza.
And get some pizza before Big Daddy comes in here, because Big Daddy will just,
please.
eliminate all the pizza. You are listening to The Wrestling Guys on Buckeye. I'm sorry. I ran
man.
over your thing. Go.
On Buckeye Country 106.5.
Welcome back to The Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham, Willie up in here on this Valentine's Day. Want to thank Dana from Papa John for stopping in here again.
Thank you,
bringing
Dana.
us the brand new thin crust pizza again.
It is good.
Oh, and as you can hear, Willie F. chomping down on it right now.
It is actually really good.
It's excellent. Large, thin crust, 3 topping, only $9.99. Again, the phone number 294-7272 or 294-PAPA, the easiest way to remember it, I guess. And again, you also have like new sauces now. I noticed that. And normally you always had like that garlic dipping sauce.
Right. Well, the cheese sauce and the red sauce was created basically for the cheese sticks and bread sticks. But let me tell you, those things sell like crazy.
Keep talking because I'm chewing here, so.
Now, the thin crust has got the
Kill
special
some time.
season
Thank
sauce.
you,
I don't know
yes.
if you got any of that on there or not.
I didn't get any of that.
But there's also cheese,
seasoning packet.
the little cheese. Brought you some extra of those. There's actually cheese inside of the pizza crust itself. And
Oh, really?
Spice the way they make it up.
Wonderful.
So it kind of gives a little bit more zip to it.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Excellent. 294-PAPA. Again, Dana, thank you very much. Go ahead, hang out here for a little bit. Francine is in the building with Big Daddy Raj Cox.
That's what we hear.
We will no longer have any more pizza to eat because as soon as Raj gets a sniff of that, it's gone.
That stuff's gone. Now.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
glad I got my slices.
457-1065. Real quick, we want to mention this again this Sunday. It really, when I got the phone call today from the guy who's putting this on, I was a little bit shocked that he's coming to town. Juventud Guerrera is going to be in town this Sunday at the Strike Zone at the Fairfield Commons Mall from 1 until 3, signing absolutely free autographs. And you go up there because Hubie is doing some stuff with XPW, but also is really focusing down in Mexico right now. So if you want to meet Juventud Guerrera, you can do so this Sunday, 1 to 3, free autographs at the Strike Zone at the Fairfield Commons Mall, and your chance to absolutely meet him. And no, okay. Not only did Big Daddy Raj Cox get here to eat all the pizza, but now Bobo is here.
See, that's the problem with actually doing this show. That when they heard that actually there was pizza, you knew that everyone was going to come in and.
Yeah, everybody was here. So Francine's in the studio. Raj, go ahead and step up to.
Excuse me, they came because of the 900 number too.
That's what it was. That's what it was. See, it's Julia's 900 number.
Yeah, Julia has a little side business here. So Francine, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So go ahead and get settled in. Raj, step up here for a second. Tomorrow night, the big show. You've been advertising, a lot of hype going into this. Give us the rundown again.
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. We just left UCW Live. You were calling, had a tremendous night with that. Tomorrow's even going to be better. I'm going to be there very, very early. Of course, we got to set up and get everything together.
You're winded, dude.
I'm blown up, man.
So am I.
It's 3 flights of stairs.
How did Marty do it? That's what I want to know.
It has to be an elevator.
Oh, I catch my breath to walk down the hall and get some more pizza. But like I said, we still got some tickets available. You can get them at the door. You can try to come a little early. But you want to get there early because there's limited seating, and the only way you might get to see the show is if somebody throws somebody out the door, so you want to get there a little early.
And we talked the other day, I mean, you're doing some really good pre-sales for this, like 200-300 already.
Right. So, we're having a good pre-sale type deal. And
good crowd.
Francine, she just helped it out a little bit more. You should have been at the TV thing, but I know you was here.
No, we had it on. We had it on there.
Okay.
Yeah. We had it on there, trust me.
That's good. Like I said, we plugged the radio show. We said we was on our way over here, and, of course, you guys were already doing your thing. So, we just want to thank you guys for having us on.
You know what I wanted to do? And we didn't get a chance to do it. I was going to call into the call-in show.
Yeah, we were.
And I was going to go, Francine, what's better? Tommy Dreamer's Piccoli Driver, Robert Van Dam's 5-star Splash. What's the better move?
I'm sure they probably had it. Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure you're biased on that.
Tommy's move is the best move.
I'm sure they probably had a bunch of those cars anyway.
We're going to leave that comment
I got something better. Ask her who's got the best move in wrestling.
Francine, who has the best move in wrestling?
Ask her the question just like that.
Who has the best move in wrestling?
Big Daddy Raj Cox.
Well, let's see.
He self-promotes as much as he can,
So, Francine, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. I have a little beef with one of you, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you.
That's Willie. I'm
I was
Shawn.
just coming over here in the in the car to the studio, and I heard you talking about Jerry Lynn, who is a really, really good friend of mine, and I congratulate him. And when you said, "Oh, I heard he signed with WCW," excuse me, WWF, and something was said about ECW, and then there was chuckles. What's all the laughing about?
What did we laugh about?
Oh, there was laughter. Do you have a replay button? Because
No, I don't know.
Am I lying?
What did we say?
I was with. Yes, there was laughter.
If we were laughing, it wasn't about ECW.
Was that when Julia fell out of the chair, though?
Julia fell out of the chair.
Oh, now blame it on Julia.
No, I'm
She has
serious.
a 900 number, and then she falls on her ass out of the chair. Okay, all right.
Well, here's a little recap of what happened tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Julia's a little bit frustrated because Valentine's Day, she's working.
Right.
So earlier, she actually smacked herself in the forehead with her headphones.
Right.
And then she was backing up in the chair and fell out on the floor.
Well, she fell down the steps welcoming me, so, it's okay.
So she's got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
And she's a
now
little
you
bit
don't need
upset.
to tell the world that. That's personal. You guys, I'm
I
telling
want to
you.
drink what she's drinking.
Francine, it's tough love.
I hear you.
We're trying to get through this.
Okay, I just want to make that very clear,
Sure.
Man, this is
If we did, absolutely nothing against ECW.
I heard somebody laugh. I said, how dare they? I'm going to heal somebody as soon as I get there.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's like 5 men. Don't do it, guys.
Raj, back it up here. Have we ever bashed ECW?
No.
Well,
We have never bashed
we're in a very
I'm
touchy...
just saying, when you get 2 women in here, it's like having 5 guys. There's no competition. Let's not go there.
I just watched your table bump yesterday from Pitbull number 2. I don't want to mess with you. Trust me.
Yes, that was very grueling. So, and it happened a long time ago before anybody else did it. Might I add?
And I agree with you.
I'll put myself over.
Which is why you're the queen of extreme.
That's right.
Now, it's Valentine's Day. Where's Tommy at?
It's never ending with both of us. We always plan to meet at a certain time, and something happens, and he was called to business. He is trying to get on a flight tonight to meet me later, so hopefully he'll definitely be here for the show tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, but we're just trying to get him on a later flight.
And a lot of anticipation about this show. Yourself, Tommy, New Jack, Rhino in town tomorrow night,
and Wild Bill Wiles. Let's not forget
Bill is here. Yeah,
Bill to his, yes.
He'll probably be here late
he will
tonight.
be there along with his lovely companion Bella.
Bella's going to be here.
Bella does merchandise for us, and she's a doll, and I love her. Shut up. And she is a good-hearted person, and she will be there as well.
Good.
Yes, shut up. All right. Enough about you. It's my time. All right, go ahead.
Okay, that's right. Let's talk a little bit about ECW. The other day, Rob Van Dam on his website said he thinks there's a 50-50 chance that the pay-per-view is going to happen in a month. Do you think that the odds are still pretty good the pay-per-view will happen?
I kind of have to go with Rob on this one. It seems like every day that passes is less time for us to promote it.
Sure.
It's hard not having a television show. We have limited publicity right now, and word of mouth isn't going to cut it. If we're going to have one, we have to do something like right now. So as I was saying earlier, I mean, I've been with this company 7 years. I do not want to see it die. I was here when we had 50 people. We had to bribe people to come in and watch us and fill up Hard Camera. To see us, I mean, we played, our biggest crowd was almost 9,000. And that makes me very proud. I don't want to leave. Paul gave me my break, so I'm sticking it out until the very end. And hopefully we'll all prosper from it. Everybody who left, God bless you. You got to make your money, and they're all my friends, and I wish them well. To everybody who's staying, hopefully, because we're a family, and it sounds so corny, but these guys are like my brothers, literally. When you're on the road like 4 or 5 days a week, you grow very close, and we are an extended family. So
then you can get that. I got that off the website. See, we'll plug your website too. We'll see how we'll just sync right into that.
It's at FrancineECW.com.
And actually, I know that there's a new auction going on too.
Oh yes, there is. Actually, I have the jacket on right now.
Oh, well, there you go.
This is my jacket. Yeah, so I'm doing what I can to hang on right now, and every little bit helps, but I'm not destitute.
Sure.
And we're doing indies and we're selling stuff and this and that, but I pray to God that this company stays afloat, and I will be right back with them when they do.
I think it's good for the business that the company stays afloat too.
I think so too. I mean, there's not knocking the other two, but with two, there's really not that much to offer.
Exactly.
We were the alternative, and before we went national, they stole our stuff and put it on TV first.
Absolutely.
And we I hate to say it, but we did innovate a lot of the things you see today, and they get the credit for it. So it's it's kind of not fair, but we'll get our chance, I hope.
I mean, you take a look at number one, the hardcore divisions both of the big two had, obviously coming right from ECW, and you look at the big names now, the Dudley Boys, and Raven, and Chris Jericho, and Lance Storm,
I mean,
Taz.
they're all there, and like I said earlier,
Steve Austin. I mean, let's not forget that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I was there when Steve came to us, and he was only there not very long at all.
Right.
And actually, he was going to get the belt, but he left. So I mean, that's the way it works out. But it's just I don't down anybody for leaving, but if everybody would just stay around a little longer, hopefully, and if not, I mean, when I started, the company was only a year old, I think, because I signed back in December of '93 to start training and whatnot, and I was working in '94. And really, there were no huge names. And now I can honestly say that ECW has some huge names on the roster. So if we have to rebuild, if there's only a couple of us left and we have to take indie guys and build them up, Paul will do that because he has the power to make everybody a star.
Do you think, do you find it amazing that some people criticize Paul Heyman on the internet saying, well, he's not doing enough to try and save this company? We've talked about it where Paul, and we know this, how he is like very much in debt. I mean, he is doing everything he can to try and save this company.
It's no lie that is it in the red? is that the expression? The people who are criticizing Paul, they haven't sat in the meetings. They haven't been in the locker room with us when we had our team meetings. I mean, these people have no idea what they're talking about. And I mean, if you're an insider like myself, we can't say much because certain things that are said will ruin a deal.
Sure, absolutely.
So silence is okay right now, And I read the internet, and the fans say, well, it's not fair to us. Well, we're working for the company, and as some people know more than others. I know a little more than you or somebody else that works there, but I'm not at liberty to say anything.
Sure. We're on a need-to-know basis.
Exactly. But I mean, you think that Paul's just trying to get the best deal for the company. I mean, you look at what happened with TNN, and I think it's a disaster.
It was a disaster.
And they did not treat you guys fairly
not
by
at all.
any
We
stretch.